is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad.
So it seems that Congress is finally going to recognize.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BDRP Late Show. I'm your host, D-Doss, and I'm joined by my good friend and brother, Merlin. What's going on, Merle?
Just to find my way through all this.
Right. So we've had here lately all the congressional hearings about these aliens, right? And things being entered into official congressional, records about UAPs and military as well as government personnel saying that they've been in contact with these UAPs and alien beings. What's your thoughts on all that?
Oh, man. Just be honest with you. I see them letting out a little bit more, but I think it's just I think it's what they call a limited hangout. I think they're going to throw it out there, make a little talk about it, then make a little fun of it, and then it's going to disappear till they need it again.
I'd agree with that, but I don't think it's going to disappear. I think this is the beginning of that great deception. They've been teasing it for 20 something years, 30 really. So I believe something that they'll try to pull some sort of a flim flam. And they want us locked up in our houses. They want us dependent completely upon them. So I've been trying to link logically in my mind how they would do that from this.
Yeah, I don't see them getting it from here.
I look at the significance of all the stuff that they're saying, all the stuff that is being entered into public record.
Yeah.
And how that is, how do I put that? Like, for instance, how they said that they did, it's official now, because Bob Lazar put it out there, but they said that one of these UAPs or UFOs was found during an archaeological dig, which is more than an insinuation that this is old world technology. Now, you know, and I know both, that back in the days, the early Earth ages, that I think that they could have higher, they had rather higher advanced technology than we do while using more natural resources to achieve it. That's what I believe.
Yeah. I know that all that stuff's linked.
Yeah.
I just don't know, man. I've seen it too many times. It's going to be this big disclosure and everything. I don't think the government's ever going to do that. I think it'll actually, whatever's coming is going to come before they admit that. They'll let a little bit out and drag it back, a little out and drag it back, because they have
right.
to.
Yeah, they absolutely.
Before they knew, admit they killed all them people that was talking about UFOs from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Well, you know what gets me, bro? You remember it was a mixed race couple from Canada.
Yeah,
Betty and Barney Hill. And I believe it was the early 1950s and they were the first ones to ever have some sort of a write out in a major publication about, their experiences with these so-called space beings. Now, isn't that something to present to the American people, especially in 1950, if you want to let out some truth? Let it be a multiracial couple from Canada. So you're going to read it, but you're like, nah, I'm not going to pay attention to this. This isn't my walk of life in America right now, but you're still going to pay attention to it. They're delineating that information and that's psychological warfare 101.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what it's called. It's called a limited hangout. Let all this out and then you reel some of it back. You let some of it out,
right?
You reel some of it back. You let out let's say 20 foot of line and you reel 5 foot back. Foot of line, 5 foot back. And people just get fatigued of hearing about it and they just move on.
I can't reconcile that in my own mind, because who can say, oh, okay, the government's saying that we have aliens? That no big deal. Who's saying that? Because that is a big deal.
You're thinking at it from your point of view. You're a curious person. You want to know. You've already been looking. Everybody else ain't curious. They're worried about getting houses and, putting clothes on the kids' back, food in their stomach, and keeping their car on the road so they can get back and forth to work, paying insurance on that.
Yeah, but those are steps going through a day, just living your life. There's other things besides the anthill and the rat race.
But there's not. When you've got as much debt as 2/3 of the people in America have on you, there's nothing else.
Well, that's a sad set of circumstances, because that's what's taking place in the physical, and we are spirits. We just happen to have flesh.
Yep. But when your flesh is so tired you can't stay awake, by the time you stagger in at night after you put in a 20-hour shift,
that's why we take our rest. That's why we take our rest in the Lord. He gives us our rest. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're walking around fatigued and just hypnotized by the daily woes and troubles, then you're in a bad way.
That ain't hypnotized. That's just wore out.
Well, there's a passage in that book that says he maketh us to run and grow not weary. Gives us wing like eagles.
Well, I believe in the Lord. I don't think you'll ever find anybody that's a stronger believer than me, but I'm going to tell you right now, when I was working 7-hour days and 15 to 20-hour shifts, I was wore out. I was tired.
Oh, yeah, I got you. I'm right there with you. Swinging that sledgehammer, connecting plug valves in the Permian Basin, 300 pounds.
When you're doing
that's a day's work, 12, 13, 14.
Kind of
but see, I would do that and then go right home and hit the research. You know what I'm saying? Try to just soak up knowledge like a sponge.
You're looking at this from your point of view, when you need to be looking at it from everybody else's point of view.
I look at it like this. The Lord said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I didn't say that. The Bible did. So I'm sympathetic when it comes to that. I'm not arguing against, somebody being tired, working long shifts at all. I've been there.
I'm just telling you the reality of the situation. 70.
I understand the reality.
I don't care.
I understand the reality of the situation. Well, I want to shake them out of their apathy.
Yep.
Because it shouldn't be there. There's stuff going on in the world that affects them while they're focused on what's going on today and what's going on maybe tomorrow. There's things beyond that is going to affect them in their daily lives. And all that tunnel vision and being in that alpha state of mind, just going through those daily woes and troubles, somebody's going to get caught off guard.
Now, you're
a lot of
right
people
back to my argument. None of these people, well, I ain't going to say none of them. The vast majority of these people are not going to wake up until it hits them in the face. They're too busy.
Call me a cockeyed optimist. But I believe that people want to know. And if you could present it in between those ebbs and flows of their, tired day, truth is going to reconcile and recognize truth. You know what I'm saying? They'll feel it in their spirit.
I'll just worry about the ones I can read. That's all we can do.
Yeah. That's a Debbie Downer, though, man. Like, I believe that folks are waking up out of that apathy. I really do. I see it all the time.
I do too. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a lot of people. And it's going to be the majority of people that don't want to know.
Well, that's sad to me.
It is sad. It is sad, but it's
Because this
you know
shit's
what
going to
ain't
come right
sad?
down on them, just like it's going to come down on us, bro.
You know
what I'm
what
saying?
ain't sad? What ain't
What's that?
sad is the ones that are listening. What
Hey,
ain't
man.
sad is the ones that we can call our brother and sister in Christ. They have eyes to see and ears to hear. And I rejoice for every one of them.
That's absolutely right. And yet, you know, people call me prejudiced because, oh, you're only talking to your brothers and your sisters. You don't care about a non-believer. That's not true at all. Because all of us were once lost.
Exactly. We're supposed to.
We're grafted in. We're adopted.
Yeah, we hate the sin and love the sinner.
Absolutely. But there is
Nobody
that
gets
seed of the
lost.
serpent. There's that seed of the serpent out there too, bro. That's what a lot of our brothers and sisters don't realize either.
Yeah.
There's some folks that just they're not us. Period.
Yep, that's a fact.
If the seed of the woman came into the world, nobody ever talks about that seed of the serpent. It came into the world in flesh too.
Yeah.
And Satan always overcompensates.
Yep.
So where we got the Son of Man, he's probably got a litany of people out there that is his genetic offspring.
He has the son of perdition.
Son of perdition, who imposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshiped. Boy, that 2 Thessalonian area that we're moving into.
Yep.
That's, as a matter of fact, I want to read that to
Oh,
the folks.
good.
If y'all don't mind, because that's one of my favorite, and I think one of the most pertinent Bible verses for our generation, because we all do get lost in that everyday rat race and, oh, well, you know, what can I do? I can only do what I can do. And we try to get those moments in them with the Lord that we, you know, when we can.
Yep. That's all we can do. That and just enjoy the day. The Lord, didn't send us here to be on a weary drudge. You're right. We are supposed to trust in the Lord. And the way we do that is we take joy in the day He gave us, no matter what we're doing.
Absolutely. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Now, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. There's a lot of translations that don't say that. It's the day of Christ. 2:3 says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you I told you these things? And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed. And it's a capital W in wicked. And then shall that wicked be revealed. Now watch this. Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, folks. Lying wonders. Spacemen, the flying saucers, little green men coming out of them, taking people up in time displacement and all that. Lying wonders. Because why? He's coming with all power and signs. That's what the Bible says. That's what I'm reading to you.
Yeah.
Don't believe none of this garbage that they're trying to shove down your throat. It's something for us to pay attention to because it tells us the time that we're in. Leaneth not into the understanding of man. They're trying to set us up for disaster is what I'm saying. I'll just say it plain out. And this is the beginning little trinkles of it. That's what I believe, brother, honestly.
That's another reason why I don't believe it's going to get too big, because people just outright, deep in their spirit, know that this is a lie and dangled.
You would think they would, bro, because it's a lie straight from hell.
Yeah.
And they got people up there, man. But that when it says he who now letteth will let, or he who is now holding back this massive wicked force, will continue to do so until he be taken out of the way. That he, when you read that, is plural. It's not singular. So as strange as that may sound, that he means more than one. That's the he that's in us with the capital H, the Holy Spirit. And when he takes everyone with the Holy Spirit out of this world, because the world's going to keep going with us not in it, God's going to be taken away from this earth and people who have the understanding of God. And when that happens, folks, everything that's happened now is going to look like a joke at a picnic. He who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then that wicked shall be revealed. We're in that time, bro. I can feel it in my bones.
Well, and a lot of generations out that, but I believe we're close.
He's at the door.
How close?
I believe he knocks and is now at the door, brother. But that very next verse after that, whom the Lord shall consume, or the rest of that verse, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. In Revelation, it talk about a sharp two-edged sword that comes from his mouth. He's going to come down here like an atom bomb and be telling truth that's so deep that it would destroy evil, like from reality.
Yep.
Because he is truth.
The way in the
When you think about it, let's think about it scientifically. The spirit being that created atoms that form us, the molecules and everything is perfect in its order, right?
Yeah.
He's going to physically manifest just like he did 2,000 years ago. He's going to physically come down here from the right hand of the Father and dwell among his creation with war on his mind. What you gonna do with that? You can't do nothing with that. Like, that's God manifest in the flesh. Yeah, like Hollywood ain't ever made a horror movie like The Day of Christ.
I'm gonna be having a blast.
It's called The Great and Terrible Day of the Lord.
Yep. And
rolls the sky back like a scroll.
1,000 years have been able to ask him anything we want.
Yep. Well, we'll have the restored and renewed mind of Christ as soon as we enter into that new body.
Oh, yeah. But we'll still be learning.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes,
but that, bro, like, people don't understand. They think it's a game. You know what I'm saying? Like playing church and all that stuff.
Yeah. I think it's easy for people to get caught in a situation because they were raised in a church and they think that's all there is to it. It's just going to church and sitting on the pew and dropping some money in the collection plate.
And that's your time with God. That's what makes you a good Christian. That's crazy to me. We worship in spirit. The Bible says we worship in spirit and in truth. So if we're just physically worshiping,
and
you know what I mean?
Not the people past days having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof.
Denying the power thereof.
They go to church, but they don't get the Holy Spirit.
They acknowledge him. Just like Elon Musk not too long ago, in the past couple of weeks, he'll acknowledge Christ and he'll acknowledge the validity of the Bible as being truth. But he never does say he belongs to him. You know what I mean? He talks like Anton LaVey talked about the Bible in public.
Yeah, I'd be honest with you. I like what he's doing, at least partially for, freedom of speech and everything. But I think he's a weak crutch to lean on. He's behind that Neuralink and a bunch of other AI projects that are just not good for people. And then he'll say,
he's on that do with Wilt shit.
It's, we got
he'll lead the fray.
This AI and we got to control it. But here, I'm going to AI, and come on.
He was leading the fray of like 100 and something scientists and public figures and saying that we needed to halt all development of AI for 6 months. Well, that people forget about that, and that was a month and a half, 2 months ago. He said we need to halt its development for 6 months. That hit me as really strange, because how did he come up with that figure? What's happening in 6 months? The reason he's leading the fray in the halting of the development of it, just for a 6 month window.
Yeah, I've got to need.
But he starts his own AI company in the meantime. So one or two things, bro. He's about to get one of those suits like old Rockefeller got from Theodore Roosevelt. An antitrust. I mean, think about it. That's pretty heavy duty for a tech czar
If they
like
go
Elon
after
Musk to
him,
say.
that's the problem. If they go after him, then you've got Zuckerberg and Bezos and all the rest of them that opens up to those types of actions.
Elon Musk got
They-
enough
they
money to
won't
burn a
keep
wet
us
mule,
on
though,
that.
bro. He's got enough money to burn a wet mule. He's richer than all of them.
That's what I'm telling you. They can't do an antitrust on him because what he has is not violated any trust laws.
Not yet, it
He's
ain't.
all the others have. That's the problem. All the others have, and I mean blatantly. Antitrust
Like
laws.
Jeff Bezos has. Like what, for an example?
And so is Zuckerberg. That will, like, for instance, when they have an app for social media, and then when somebody opens one that people start to like better, I give them an offer and then force them out of business and force them to sell it to you. And they've done that with every app that would compete with them.
That's capitalism.
No, that's called antitrust.
Nah, that's called progressivism. And
Yeah, I'm not going to do that thing. I'm dead serious. That's antitrust. Then you got this guy comes and buys one business. There's no way.
no, he hadn't
no
just
way
bought.
they
He's
can
not
go
just.
after
He's
him.
not just bought one business.
Yeah, one business in social media.
He's bought other ones that to swallow him up.
No, he
So-
just bought this social media company. He had any
Right,
other
Twitter.
ones yet. He's got a battery factory and he makes cars.
Twitter isn't just some mom and pop operation, though. You understand what I'm saying? Like
It don't
look
matter.
at Zucker.
Look, that company was what it is now when he bought it. He hasn't made any major changes. Other than
He hasn't made any.
policy.
He's fired 80% of his staff. That's
Yeah,
a major
policy.
change.
That's policy. That has no bearing on him buying other companies and forcing them out of business. That's what
Well,
antitrust is about.
Let's agree to disagree. 'Cause Elon Musk, I don't trust him no further than I can throw him.
Well, I didn't say I did either. That's exactly what I was saying is I don't. I think he's a weak crutch. Remember, that's what I said.
That you did.
He is look.
He's a flim flam man.
Everything
That's
that
that's
he's
what
had
that's
children-
bro. That's what worries me about him, because he is too easy to like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's all about freedom of speech, but he's marrying these Satanists, these open Satanists. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like
And I don't
he's a
think
little
he
too slick
married
and
him.
likable.
I don't think he even married him. He just lived with them and had children with them,
For real.
from what I understand. Yeah. There was 2 or 3 of them.
And like this
Had
kid
children
that
with
he
them, and they were
this
just
kid that he
open
just had.
Satanists.
Yeah, his name is some sort of mathematical equation or something.
Yeah.
Like up down circles. I forget the kid's name, but it's something crazy like that. Hold on, I'll look it up.
That's
But like you said, the Neuralink, bro.
yeah.
If it was that and that alone, that's enough for you to kind of look at him out of the corner of your eye. He's going to connect you directly to the internet, and you can allegedly download chunks of knowledge directly into your mind, because the mind is still the greatest computer on earth.
They're already giving people brain chips and fixing epilepsy.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, this was coming. No
You got
matter what.
CRISPR-Cas9, where you can literally like take out any bad gene or add what you can change the kid's eye color, make him genetically or him or her genetically have more muscle tone or muscle mass.
Yeah.
Now take CRISPR-Cas9 and mix it with that technology that Elon Musk has, that Neuralink, right? Because you can take basic elements from the human body and technically make your own man. Bone marrow, blood, soft tissue, hard muscle. That's what you could do with CRISPR-Cas9.
You know what my Bible says about it?
What was that?
It says the people that truck with that are going to have boils on their bodies for days. And they're going to go through hard begging to die, and then death will flee from them.
Death will flee from them.
They're not doing nothing. That ain't ever going to work the way they wanted it to.
No, because God's not going to breathe into that thing's nostrils.
No.
The spirit animates the body. The spirit comes, that's that breath that comes into us that helps us move around. It gives us the personality we do to make us distinct from one another. God's not going to breathe in the nostrils of some monstrosity they made in CRISPR-Cas9. Are you kidding me? So yeah, it's never going to work. But they're trying. There's no doubt in my mind. They're trying. They made that goat that has that milk or that spider weave or whatever that they're making that Kevlar out of.
It's spider proteins in their milk. Yeah.
Yes. They make the strongest body armor out of that stuff on planet Earth. Oh, you broke up on me a little bit, bro.
Spider silk.
Yeah, spider silk. That's exactly right. If they're able to genetically manipulate nature like that, and they got CRISPR-Cas9 where they've proven they can grow limbs. If they can grow a limb, they can grow a body.
Yeah. That ain't so big of a deal to grow a body when you can't put a soul in.
That's the kicker. That's what I was saying earlier. Now,
What
all of this, all this technology is in Geneva, Switzerland, at the CERN Large Hadron Collider. Did you know that? Why do they have a CRISPR-Cas9 system there? What do they? I mean, there's no scientific validity for it.
Yeah, there is.
So think about it. Now, hear me out. They got CRISPR-Cas9 where they're creating a body, right? They can. The brain is separate from the mind. The mind is a part of the spirit. The brain's a part of the body that tells our heart to beat and air to go into our lungs and all that kind of stuff. Because God's smart that way. So you got this genetically perfect body, and you've downloaded the history of man into his brain. Now all you need is a spirit to animate that body. You got CERN right there, right above the in the Temple of Apollyon, the Temple of Apollo, where they used to sit the oracle. They had her back in the cave, smoke coming up, the spirit of Pythia wrapping itself around her spine, going over the top of her head, giving all this oracular knowledge, right? That's an opening. That's an opening to the pit. CERN is a damn Stargate. Even the director said we can open a portal from this side to somewhere else, and that something from over there can come over here, and we can go on that side of the portal. That was the first director of the Geneva facility who said that. So now I'm a dumb old country boy, but this is the way I see it. They're building a body over there, and they're going to put a spirit into it. They're going to have a spirit animate that body, but it's not going to be Ruach HaKodesh. It's not going to be the Holy Spirit or the spirit that God breathed into our nostrils. It's going to be that wicked one. It's going to
be their new perfect one that they made with Chat GPT.
Yep, it's going to be that. It's going to be that the wicked one, bro, with the capital W.
Yeah, the Chat GPT is going to write us a new Bible, with all the new prophecies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bro, that AI. Think about it. Look at where it's at right now.
Yeah.
What's it going to be in 2 years?
That's just what we're seeing. That's just what we're seeing with the stuff they've got 30 years beyond what we're looking at. They've had this stuff. They were making movies with this AI stuff back in the 90s, late 90s.
Yeah, that's true. I'm telling you, bro, they're getting ready to set people up for disaster.
They're always ready.
They got that Operation Bluebeam where they can project shit into the sky. You know what I mean? Like, people and planes and stuff. Do you remember when Jesus, an image of Jesus was floating in New York City? Nobody ever explained it, but it looked like a hologram. What do you think that was? That was crazy. Let me see if I can find that.
Yeah. You know, it's the way I look at that is like this. That's just a bunch of wasted effort.
It's psychological warfare. Look at where they did.
People know instinctively that this stuff is coming. They've heard it their whole life. They've done predictive programming on it and did their little magic in front of us to get that lesser magic off.
Yeah.
And
so we can come into agreement with it.
they've let their own cat out of the bag. Everybody knows this is coming.
They should if they don't.
No, they do. They've even made movies about it. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's the con. That's
been
the
programmed
con.
for a
See,
very
these
long
people-
time.
These people that are in charge, that are, really in charge making the calls and everything, they've been set up from the beginning to take a fall. It tells you we're going to think that B system's dead. It's going to have a deadly head wound. And we're going to think it's dead. We're going to think we won the fight.
Why don't we explain to people the beast system? Because everybody thinks when the Bible, the Revelation is hard to delineate and understand. And when they're talking about the beast that rises from the sea, they're talking about a system of government, that New World Order.
Yep.
And then it's curious how all these Gnostic leaders like G.H.W. Bush, GW's daddy, I was always talking about the 10,000 points of light or something like that.
Yeah. A New World Order.
And we will enjoy. He said it with a smile on his face, bro. He was so tickled with himself. Like he was so happy.
He said,
when we
said,
succeed,
successful,
and we will be, Obi. And we will be.
Yeah.
He's loving it. That's somebody who's being sincere. You know what?
Yeah. I've watched this speech a bunch of times. That's where you can see his eyes turn into snake eyes when he says it. That's the
No,
one
that's
where
that's a
they
little bit
footage.
later one. That's when when he was a little bit older,
It
and
does
he
it
was
on that
listening
one,
to the
too.
question. Well, if those are 10 years removed from one another, he can't contain himself. Then
Nope.
he's got Legion popping open like a can of baked beans.
Me and my wife and my mother-in-law was sitting here the day he died, and it was on TV that there was a horrible earthquake right outside of Anchorage, Alaska. I think it was.
I can believe it because I mean
It
one
was
of
the
those.
worst. Yeah, it was one of the worst earthquakes on record, but nobody died. And then somebody said, "Oh, except President Bush, he passed away today." And I was like, "That explains
that big
it."
time spirit. Yep, that big
Yeah,
time
that was
spirit he had in
hell
him.
rising up to meet him.
No joke. Talk about a wicked man, though. He was the big boss of the CIA.
Yeah, I just looked around at my mother-in-law and wife, and I laughed, and I said, "Well, that makes perfect sense. Hell rose up to meet him."
Man, have you seen the footage of where he's giving a speech somewhere, and he mentions the JFK assassination? He's looking down as he does it, and he starts chuckling to himself.
Yeah, I bet he did.
It's like, what? Because I mean, it's obvious. He says something about JFK's assassination, kind of in passing, and he kind of just puts his head down, giggles to himself.
Yeah, I bet he did.
It's one of the sickest things you ever seen.
Yeah.
Old man George had a lot of bad stuff going on with him, man.
Man, everybody was fooled by that dude. I remember back then. I was too young to vote when they were in the last time, but I remember.
People thought he was legit.
He was a wimp. They thought he was a wimp.
Well, he's old Presbyterian, soft-spoken.
Walking around wearing them pink sweaters. You know what I'm saying?
And his name in Yale was Gog.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
GW
it's
is Magog.
It's like Hitler walking around in a cashmere sweater. You know what I'm saying?
No joke.
That's pink. And because he's wearing a pink sweater and them funny glasses, and he talked like this here, everybody
See, look at that.
ate it up.
That's madness, bro. See? Projection.
Yeah.
Is this a trick of light?
That's a crude one. They can do it to where you can't even see that. That, like that pillar of light. That's the older ones there. They've got, in fact, they've got concerts going on now with dead people.
I was just about to
Live
say
people
that, bro.
With them. Yeah, and people in the audience can't tell the difference.
And it's not even the concerts they're having, like with Tupac they brought back and all that. It's like I'll find one of those videos and show you. It's these raves that they have in like Germany and stuff, and they have it at the Epcot Center.
Well, they
some
did
some
it,
like
for,
DJ had
the
a concert
Country
there.
Music Awards. They did it for the Country Music Awards back in like 2009 or 10. They brought
but not
Hank
like this,
Williams
bro.
Sr.
I'll
back to
find.
Hank- Yeah, it
This
was
is
like
this
that,
is
that's what I'm
different than
telling
like
you.
the projection. I hear you. This is different though. I'll find a video and show you. It's hard to explain, but they're projecting with like perfect. I'll show you.
I've seen
It's
them.
hard
That's
to
what I'm
explain.
telling you.
But they
Not only that, they had one where they had these kids going into
you're
a
thinking about the
basketball
concerts.
gym. I'm thinking about both, and I'm also thinking about these kids going into a basketball gym at a school, and then having what looked like it was a wave come up out of the floor, and then the floor splashed and turned to water, and looked like it was rushing, and scared the crap out of the kids. They thought it was real. Back in the early 2000s, and they was able to transport that to a school gym. That's crazy.
Wow.
They've had this technology a lot longer than people think they have. I mean, a lot longer. It's all new to us because we're just seeing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They've been fooling around with it for a long time. And believe me, I don't think it's going to work out as good for them as they think. Well, I know it ain't, like I said, because the people that are set up now, it says there'll be 10 kings, and they'll have a ship 1 hour with the beast, and then they're going to give their power to him. What do they think is going to happen to them at that point? He has need for them past that.
All right, yeah, I found one for you. Cause I just seen this the other day. Check this out. All right, can y'all see that, folks?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Bro, yeah, like like I said, I had to show you because as good as it was projecting all those cats on stage, Tupac and the music awards. Look at this. That's bananas.
Yeah. What kind of devil is that supposed to be?
Bro, you
Wow.
got, yeah.
No, you wouldn't believe this. A little tree frog just jumped up on my dang computer keyboard as I was saying, what kind of devil is this? And I
Wow.
almost flipped my chair over there for a second.
No joke. And you said it jumped up on your keyboard. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm looking straight at it, man. Just as I said that, just as that thing was leaning forward, it jumped up on the keyboard and almost, I'm telling you, that was bad.
And this is I actually got the, it's kind of loud. Turn that down a little bit.
It's total madness.
This would be a trip because like they have the official footage of it. It looks like it's reaching out over the crowd and stuff.
Yep. What would have looked cooler is if they'd have took a Leah out of Queen of the Damned and did that.
Right? I like that Queen of the Damn movie.
Yep.
As a sequel, it was all right.
Yeah, it was.
But imagine that projected. Look, I mean, with perfection
Yeah.
over San Francisco or Dallas, Texas. People would lose their shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's the noise those UFOs. That's the noise those UFOs are going to be making, bro. That's what it's going to sound like when they come from the sky.
They're going to be bumping when they come through the neighborhood.
Yep. People be shitting themselves from a cowardly soul. You can't tell me if this music started playing and it was the middle of the night and the sky just lit up brighter than it does during the day, and you went outside and like, what's going on? It's all a bunch of UFOs with this madness playing. Like, yeah, I'd have a heart attack.
Well, man, it didn't even take that. A tree frog just nearly took me out. Just
Well,
me
bro,
watching on the
that's I
screen.
don't believe it. I don't believe in happenstance, luck, nor change. So, you know what I mean? Well, the first thing that popped in my mind is they will have there will be 3 spirits that come from the mouth of the dragon,
Yeah.
and
They'll be
they'll look like
unexplained
frogs.
frogs. Yeah.
Yep. That was the first thing that popped into my mind when you said that. I was like, whoa. But see, when you start talking about this kind of stuff, the devil don't want nobody knowing the truth. Up. Yeah, don't it show up? The devil don't want nobody knowing the truth of the matter. No. They want us to shut up.
Yeah, go read that book you got.
Go read that book and leave these people alone now. Mind your own business, see?
It's crazy.
Very much so. But it's written, though. You know what I'm saying? Like a long time ago. We just read it.
Yeah.
The lying wonders. People forget about that in 2 Thessalonians. Yeah. This wicked one that's coming, or that's here. Let's stop with this coming stuff. He's here.
Yeah.
He comes with all power and signs and lying wonders. Because he has an anointing from God. That anointed cherub that covereth, God anointed him.
Yep.
People need to meditate on that.
Yeah, I mean, I was going over the scripture, and it talks about how you're supposed to be a respecter of dignities. Even Michael didn't make any salacious comments about him.
He made no railing accusations. Yep, he said, "The Lord rebuke you."
Yeah,
and that's the captain of the captain of the angels in heaven,
the host of heaven.
The host, the armies of heaven.
Yeah,
he who is like God.
And we all go around talking reckless about the devil and saying,
I don't really talk reckless about him.
Oh, man. Me and you talk reckless about him together.
Well, damn him. Piss on the doubt. Yeah, I mean, he's the adversary with the capital A. I don't care nothing about him. But see, if you don't respect your enemy, though, you'll miss his little schemes and plots. He's been going about this a long time. I'm not crazy. I'm a finite being. My life is but a water vapor. But I'm on the battlefield. That son of a he's bro, like he'll take a mother away from the child to turn the child into a life of crime and violence and mean-spiritedness towards people.
Take the child away from the mother to do the same to her.
To do the same thing, to bring her into depression, just put spirits all on top of her and bring her in, separate her from everybody and say, "Oh, well, nobody loves you because you're a bad person," and blah, blah, blah. Those daemon that people say, that guy was saying on DW's channel. Oh, everybody needs to work with the daemon. Why don't you tell these people what's really real then? Tell them how you work with them. Tell them the sacrifices you got to make.
Yeah.
Playing these stupid games. But no, like, bro, I'll make a little joke every now and again, but I never deny his power because I'm not stupid.
Yeah, I know that. I was just joking.
People, I know, but people, I've heard them before talk reckless about Satan.
Yeah.
I get up and go into a different room.
Yeah.
I ain't coming in agreement with none of that.
When I was stabilizing that picture earlier, my wife came by and she saw it. Me and my son was looking at it and she was like, well, maybe they do have some kind of ape that got loose. I just turned around and looked at her and said, "Ape my ass."
Bro, you remember the teenager? It looked like a chimpanzee.
Yeah, but this wasn't that.
They got a little bit of something going on with them. You heard me say it 1,000 times. They're not us, but they're not gorillas either.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
There's something different.
They want to shut down. I've seen them maps that the globalists put out back in the early 2000s. They want us completely off the land. They want us in these little cities. That would be the perfect excuse for them to snatch all them woods and state parks and federal parks and everything.
What's that?
And force people off of it. Well, we've got an endangered hominid species out there in the woods. We've got to give it its own territory.
Yeah, and it has to have the amount that's equal to us, really,
or more. And
it's way more.
Yeah, not only that, we've got these things that they turned out to be the missing link. If those were any kind of monkey or
the missing hominid, the missing
heard about that.
You don't see these in between species, because if we're jumping from Cro-Magnon from chimpanzee to Cro-Magnon, knuckle dragger, Where's the in-between
Transitional
species?
fossil.
There you go.
And
The transitional
species.
fossils.
Not
Thank
one.
you, sir. Not one has ever been found nor ever will be, because there was 23 hominids. Like science says we are, Homo sapien. There was 23 different types on planet Earth at the same time.
And
According to them.
You tell me what those people would do. This thing was kind of humming. They would say that's the missing link, and they would force us into them cities, take that land quicker than a cat could leave behind.
Well, bro, they got to pick one or another. They can't keep dipping into the well with these agendas. They're either going to be aliens, which I think that's what they're going to swing towards that route, bro. There's no doubt in my mind. They're going to say
why do that when you can do both?
Yeah, have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
These wicked bro, there's some wicked sons of guns. I see that.
Yeah.
Oh, not only are they this endangered species, but they are they come from our space brothers. You see, our space brother. They're part of their technology. We have to. They are the missing link. Well, like the Pope said, they're free from original sin, so they'll be the ones baptizing us. They should be evangelized. Yeah. Exactly. They know all about Jesus because Jesus is one of the Star Brothers and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. We got him all wrong. We got him all wrong.
Lying sons of bitches, bro. I'm telling you, we're getting to a point for real. We're getting to a point in time, man. Like where people don't see what's going on. You remember that old R&B song? If you don't know me by now.
Yeah, this ain't no help for them.
Yeah,
there ain't no help for them if they can't see this.
It's the devil all day long. 23 different hominids on one. Folks, I believe out of those 23 hominids, there was only one that had the image of God, and that's us. And they try to believe, they make us believe that, oh, well, Neanderthal turned into this and that turned into you. No, we've been the same types of creature that we are right now throughout history.
All them hominids they're talking about are them creatures.
And I wonder who made them.
And or, there's an explanation, because I've seen a presentation a guy put on years ago, what a person's body would look like. Because if you live to be like 300-400 years old or whatever, there's certain things in the human body that never quit growing. Like your skull never quits getting thicker, your eyebrow ridge never stops getting bigger, your nose never stops growing, your ears never stop growing, your bones get more dense. If you're healthy, the older you get. And if these people were living to be that many hundreds of years old, what do you think their skeletons would look like?
That's interesting, bro.
Yes.
So they're trying to say that, like us, the pre-flood us,
yes,
is the old-timey us.
Yes.
That's interesting. That's an interesting point, bro.
Yes.
Because I mean, you'd be a fool to think that we went from a single-celled organism, somehow went on the land, turned into some sort of amphibious life form, and then from that somehow became some sort of a mammal, and from that became something akin to a chimpanzee, and from that we became knuckle draggers, and from that we became Neanderthals. Come on now. Like, how? Why isn't there any of these transitional species? We just go from one extreme to the next, and we have to accept the in-between because the people from the altar of science say so? But we're the ones reading our archaic book, and we're so illiterate and uneducated and wanting for knowledge.
But let me ask you, if they could get away with that and say this is the missing link and this is an ape, you can't tell me they wouldn't use that in a minute, because it ain't like they would
get them's ass, bro. Like,
yeah,
they got them already.
They wouldn't really shut down the timber stuff. That would still be going on. They would just own the land and get the money for it and take it off the land.
Exactamundo. That's exactly right.
It's called a waiver.
And that's what we're headed. They couldn't do it in Agenda 2021? For whatever reason, they couldn't do it in 21. And that's why in 17, it became Agenda 2030. So that's pushing it up to the line if they change it right at 2017 and it's called Agenda 2021. They didn't get something that they wanted.
Trump.
These globalists and these so-called environmentalists, they are as pagan and as little g God worshiping as the people at the altar of Baal back in biblical times. There's no doubt in my mind. They're as religious to the bone as any evangelist for the Lord.
Oh, yes, they are. More than most.
People don't see that. More than most. But and somehow they accept them as being this academic, intellectual God.
That don't believe in nothing.
Because man wrote the Bible, so how can you trust that? Man writes the science that you're arguing against me with. So what are we talking about?
Yeah.
The arguments are so fast, bro. Anyways, it aggravates the hell out of me. I'm gonna. It really does. I mean, they laugh and mock and all this stuff, and look at us out of the corner of their eye, thinking that we're these intellectually starved hillbillies with our old timey religion, and we understand the world that they live in better than they do. Yep. They're trying to save some endangered tree frog, and they got to take millions of acres to do it. Get out of here. Yeah. Beat it, creep.
That's like down where I live. They have this endangered beach mouse. It's
an endangered what?
Identical.
A beach mouse.
A beach mouse, they call it.
Like a mouse?
It ain't a mouse. It's a gopher rat's what it is. It's the same genetic rat that's across the street and all the way up here where I live. And them things will grow to over a foot long, running around down there at the condos. And then people say, oh, my God, you need to get an exterminator. There's a big rat here. And you have to say, lady, I know. But we can't touch those rats. They're an endangered species. It's a $10,000 fine to touch one of them.
Well, that's crazy. That thing would be going in the wastebasket quick, fast, in a doggone hurry.
There's people comes down here and buys land for thousands of dollars per square foot, not per square acre, but per square foot. And then they want to build them a nice big condo, and guess what? They're on that endangered beach mouses patch. And the only way you get your condo built is if you hire the city councilman's nephew, and then
of course, yeah,
and all this other stuff, and then they'll get you a waiver.
Yeah, that's an old school glad-handed.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, every last one of them mice would be going to the wastebasket. I'd have so many mousetraps set up, you'd think it was a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah. And I'm talking about just big old dirty rats, man.
$10,000 fine if you kill one.
Yeah. It's insanity. I never seen it.
Yeah, I ain't never heard no madness like that either. I'd be the Pied Piper in that neighborhood. I'd lead them all into the sea.
That's how they're going to take everything over, man. They handed over one of the biggest building in Salt Lake City, Utah, to the UN.
Well, yeah,
it's not even considered American territory, American property anymore. It's the UN's property. International law. You have no American rights there.
Well, that's what old boy from India, what's his name? Mofi?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever his name was. That's what he was saying the other when Stockton Rush. Yeah. That whole submersible thing was going on. He was on the floor of the Senate.
And that makes me so sad. I told you about that sermon I watched where the guy was talking about our founding fathers. His ancestor, everybody said that he was the third most important man at the Continental Congress. And he's the one that led the prayer and all that stuff. Founded the first Sunday schools, all kind of stuff.
Right.
And this is
that old school evangelist preacher.
Yeah.
And if folks wondering what we're talking about, he was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. He's an old black fella. And he's the one that got everybody hyped and amped for the Continental Congress, the first one.
Yeah.
He got them fired up.
Yeah.
But they're all a bunch of deists.
It's crazy.
Even though they're trying to take what the founding fathers put in there, one nation under God, they put that. Yeah. And that was a capital G God. But it's revisionist history. That's what our kids are getting in school these days.
Well, even more than that, you never even hear these other guys. The only ones you ever hear about is Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington. Most people don't even know who Patrick Henry is anymore, or Paul Revere, or Samuel Adams.
No, they don't know. The Boston Tea Party, what was really going on? Yeah. See some happy cartoon with them dumping tea into the sea, and No, show what they really did.
Those they don't even teach the kids their names anymore. They don't know who they are.
They have to take that away from them. That's our history.
Yes. Matter of fact, they're taking Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and George Washington away from them now. The latest history books don't even have in it that we broke away from England or that there was a Revolutionary War.
So they wouldn't know who King George was. You know, I've been seeing this since I was a kid. Americans out of every country on planet Earth are divided because we can't see that our history is the same. We're the same people, no matter what color our skin is.
Yeah.
And it used to be that way.
It's the biggest con
It is.
that there is.
And look what they're splitting us apart with.
I know.
Because somebody wants to put on a dress and go the same bathroom that my daughter wants, or wants to better that yet when she wants to go to wrestling. They had a girls wrestling team at her school. Until I found out that there was somebody in that division who was on the girls team who was a genetic boy.
Well, I have a theory about that.
I mean, to me, it's a part of that division. You know what I mean? And they're dividing us within ourselves, and they're doing it with such stupid stuff.
But there's a reason they picked that particularly stupid.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that. We know what that is.
Well, I'm not, but I mean, it's crazy.
Because old Michael.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, Michael. Your wife, Michael. What are you talking about, fella? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think of a male version of your wife's name. Like, that's not a gaffe that's not a slip up that anybody on planet Earth would have.
No, I can't see it.
If you had a wife named Samantha, that's like saying, me and my wife, Samuel. Whoopsie daisy. Did I say Samuel?
I have heard a couple girls, they called Mikey. You know.
Yeah, but bro, that's a nickname. Like, I knew a girl named Frankie.
He didn't even call him Mikey though. He called him Michael. I've never heard a woman called Michael.
I grew up with this girl named Frankie, and I never did call her Frank. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But it greased the tracks.
You never called her Franklin for sure.
And that old man Dingo Michelle Obama, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. But like, my goodness.
Yeah, if we could all be hung like Michelle.
All right. Let's take it easy. But yeah, she's gonna run for president, and she's all about all the environmental junk too. Wasn't she the one trying to take out meat and stuff and take out the vending machines and all that, or was that?
Yeah, the school lunches. The kids loved her.
Yeah, right. They used to have Surge. You remember Surge?
Yeah.
It was a soda, bro. They used to have that in the vending machines at my high school.
Yeah.
There were kids running up the wall like Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'm sure there was. Biden did a thing to take chocolate milk away from them.
To take chocolate milk away from them.
Yes, next year they're not having chocolate milk in school. Can you believe that? These people are the Grinch,
man. That's pure evil right there.
They're the Grinch.
Some 7-year-old kid looking forward to lunch to get that chocolate milk. You remember being a kid?
Yeah.
I remember being in second grade, bro. Like it was called Ecclesia Christian School, or Christian Academy rather, and man, I remember that was the highlight of the day because we had those tall. Well, you know, the taller little milk cartons. Yeah. And I'd go take my little 2 quarters and get my little milk. Me in hog heaven.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Milk away from the kids.
And laugh at them probably.
It's evil.
They'll probably be looking through the windows laughing at them.
I bet they laugh when they step on a bug.
Joe Biden's lost in the sauce though. He don't know sit down from Sikkim.
Yeah, you got that right.
Bro, like that's embarrassing.
Yeah, it really.
Leader of the free world, like, and he can't even walk. He don't even know when it's time to get up for breakfast, and he's going out before world leaders.
Yeah, he can't even lead a set of depends.
On the heels, and this is what gets me. And since we're getting political, why not? That's what gets me on the heels of us having a leader, no matter what anybody thinks about him, who went before Kim Jong-un without any kind of security, like a savage with a capital S. The next thing we get is old, what flavor is your ice cream, Joe?
Don't want to know what flavor his ice cream.
I don't know. He was trying to punk this dude like there was a construction worker or something that was giving him the business. He was asking some hard questions or something. And he's talking about he wants to take him outside and told him to shut up.
He's getting ready to go corn pop on him, huh?
He's about to go corn pop on his ass. Yeah. I was worried about the old boy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He put his finger in his chest.
I'm worried about him too. Them Secret Service agents would beat that man to death if he lifted a hand to defend himself.
Bro, I didn't see any Secret Service agents present. I know they were there. But yeah, the way he was trying to handle this kid, dude. I don't know.
If the kid had done anything back, he would have done that little tug on his ear thing that have done the "don't tase me, bro" thing on him.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, because old Clinton had that dude drug off. They drug him off and they whooped him.
You ain't kidding.
He should have shut up,
bro.
I said don't tase me. Yeah, they drug him out of that auditorium. They whooped the fire out of him. If anybody can watch that footage and don't know, that's crazy. Like you would come in here raising hell, huh?
I want to find that. I ain't seen that in a long time.
I'll find it for you. That poor dude. Because I mean, he was talking about he was talking some truth, bro. I think he was saying how he was at Bohemian Grove.
He was
and what they do
that
there,
and about the skull and bones, and
about skull and bone.
Yeah, he just reached up, tugged on his ear, and boom, they was on him.
And old Slick Willie, he was all calm about it. Well, they drug his ass off and beat the fire out of him, bro.
Don't tease me, bro.
No, that was just the beginning. He'd be begging for. I'm telling you, they probably killed that dude.
I saw a thing about him like 10, 15 years later, and he don't even look the same. And he was like, "Yeah, that's."
You want to talk about Bohemian Grove, huh?
Yeah.
Slick Willie don't want you talking about Bohemian Grove, see? You're talking too much.
Yeah, that's one of the funniest things I ever saw.
That was terrible, bro.
Yeah.
You could tell. I mean, he was begging for mercy. Like they're jacking him up.
Yeah, it wasn't like he wouldn't leave. He didn't refuse to leave. He just asked a question.
No, it was too late for all that.
I noticed.
You can't get it. Now you just can't leave.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the wrong question, son.
Yeah. Soon as they said Bohemian Grove, once they said something about Bohemian Grove, Bill gave a certain nod. Yeah. And that nod was whooped the fire out of him.
Yeah. That's like that look he had in his eyes when they brought them women in there when they was going to do the debates.
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing I think I ever saw there, buddy.
Bro, like he looked like he was dying.
Yeah, he looked like he was in fear for his life.
He just drank poison and he realized it right then.
That was beautiful.
Because he put that out of his mind. All them poor women he's tormented and uses power to. Yeah, old Slick Willie's not a great guy either.
Yeah, they ain't none of them great guys anymore.
Nope. Let's see. I found that it was at the University of Florida where he got tased.
Yeah.
But I found this was playing on the other tab. Let's take another look at this, bro. And the auditorium where I saw it was a whole lot smaller.
Yeah.
See, that's a screen. Hold on. There's a better one than that.
When I was a kid, there was a video game that got released. And it was a table where it's covered with glass and there's little holograms running around inside of it. They look real, like you could touch them. Little people.
The one I was thinking of is they use smoke somehow, and they project these images onto the smoke, and they appear above the crowd.
Yeah, that's what they're doing now. Or they've got people on wires one.
No, that's what they're that's what they're doing. But this was better than that. But let's check out this since I took the time to look it up, let's check out this video real fast. Because this poor old boy.
Yeah. That was funny.
I remember bro, I felt bad for him. I didn't think it was funny at all. Like, cause I knew the sound. Like they took him somewhere to hurt him real bad.
Yeah.
No, you want to tell on people, huh?
And if you watch that Dave Chappelle,
oh, it's John Kerry.
Yeah.
Also, were you a member of Skull and Bones College of Bush? Were you in the same secret society?
That's what. Yeah, John Kerry. That's when John Kerry gave the nod. All right, come on.
Yeah.
It's time for you to go.
Yeah.
See, everybody's clapping. They wanted him out of there. He's raising too much hell.
Yeah.
That's what you call resisting arrest.
No, he's saying I'll go with you. You ain't got to push me.
No, they got to put them cuffs on him.
Yeah.
He's supposed to go out quietly and orderly. That means shut up. See, he ain't listening yet. Oh, that dude, that's a big old boy that got hold of it.
What have I done? Get away from me, man. Get away from me.
No, you going to jail, son?
No,
We ain't getting off you. You going to jail. Yeah, he's going to the hospital first. Shut up. Shut up. See, that's resisting all the way. He's got every bit of that coming.
Yeah,
No, you did something. You did something, son. You're going to be still. You're going to get these handcuffs on you. Little rich punk. That's some professor's kid. Oh, I'm speaking, and you got to do what I say. Not following direct. I mean, she's saying it over and over again, asking him nicely. Wow, we'll shock the shit out of you. You gonna be still. Because why are they arresting me? Yeah, it's called disorderly conduct, son. Your lawyer will tell you all about it. Yeah, I don't remember that. That kid had every bit of that coming, bro. You made your point. They asked you to sit down. You sit down. I mean, yeah, the spotlight ain't always got to be on you.
Grabbed him and was taken to the door, and he said,
Bro,
I'll go with you. You ain't got to push me.
You're not allowed at that point in time. When the police put their hands on you, that means you're going to jail. All right, it's time to be still. It's time to say, okay, you're right, officer. Let me put my hands behind my back and follow direct orders. It's real easy, super easy. Like if it's at the point of the time, if it's at any point in time that the police are putting their hands on you, two things, whether they're doing it lawfully or unlawfully. Either way it goes, if they're doing it unlawfully, what you do is you go ahead and you listen to them, go to jail, get you a lawyer, explain the situation to them, and they will, on your behalf, go to court, and you can get money out of that situation.
Yeah,
but you don't resist them.
You can run that mouth and get the hair.
Yeah, run that. Yeah, you can run all that. You run that flipper lip, and they'll put pop knots on your head. Looks like the constellation of Orion's belt, and they'll do it with a smile on their face. Yeah,
I found that out when I was 14. Them mag lights hurt.
They'll play a Led Zeppelin drum solo on your head and go home and go to sleep like like nothing ever happened. Do you know what I mean? They'll go eat cereal with their kids and smile. Are you kidding me? Oh no, I'm gonna go with you. No, you don't get to make the rules. You getting these bracelets put on you, son.
Yeah. They didn't even put no bracelets on me. They just whooped me in the head with that flashlight and then told me to go home.
But bro, if that had been anybody else but some overprivileged rich kid like that, they would have got them pop knots put on them right in front of John Kerry and everybody in that auditorium.
Oh yeah.
Those cops were being nice to him. That's why I got the fire whipped out of him. I ain't seen that in a while myself.
Yeah, he was always getting the fire whipped out of him just for the impertinence asking those questions.
Well, no, he asked some pertinent questions. He did, but if he would have just shut up and sat down, I don't think that would happen to him.
They weren't pertinent questions; they were impertinent questions.
Well, to them, that was impertinent,
and that's what got him whooped.
John Kerry's a funny man. You're a funny man then, huh? That's when he gave him that old baseball nod. You know, they have them signals to that. They have those signals that they do.
Yeah. He just reached up and put on his earlobe.
Yep, put on that old earlobe.
It was on.
I ain't seen that dude talk about nothing else.
No, and you won't.
He's not some truther Bigfoot or not a truther YouTuber.
He keeps his nose clean. They dropped all the charges against him, but you know he got.
Hell yeah, they dropped the charge. He got the message.
Yep.
Of course they dropped the charges. He needed that ass whooping.
Oh yeah.
And he got that, so there ain't no need. Yeah, there ain't no need to hurt him in his future.
Yeah, he's housebroke now.
Yeah, he's housebroke now. He got that newspaper crossing nose. Oh man.
Yeah.
If you're gonna talk that stuff, you do it from the comfort of your own home. You do that on a call-in show.
Yeah.
You don't go up there talking about Bohemian Grove and Skull and Bones to a Skull and Bones alumni guy. Come on now.
Obviously, I forgot who you're talking to.
Apparently, he's trying to, he's trying to be this big purveyor of knowledge in front of all these people, trying to get everybody aware, and he got his ass whooped for it. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened to the forefathers of our faith. They got their ass whooped all the time, bro. Like, for real. Peter,
like
Paul.
Promises for handing out ass whippings.
I'll tell you, whooped them like rented mules.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you got to pay the cost to be the boss. You know what I mean? Like, if I was that dude, I'd be on the level of Joe Rogan right now. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody knew he stood up tall and asked him.
That boy was so glad to get out of there with his teeth.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'll never say it again.
That he never made another political statement in his life. I guarantee you.
He probably didn't. Not publicly.
I bet he don't vote either.
I wouldn't go nowhere near anything that's got anything to do with politics if I was that boy.
Hell no.
Let's do this because we're being rude. I'm being rude. Thank y'all for joining us, folks. This is we're just chopping it up. I'll probably put something else in the strange happenings. I guess that's a strange happening. Miss Lori Murdy joined us. Rye Newt, Steve Wolf, D Gramps. What's up, D Gramps? USA all day. Brother Jeffrey Reynolds, Sister Laverne Gray, Flaming Tables Jr. Can y'all hear that echo coming back at me? So I can hear it in my headphones.
I don't. And I didn't push the button.
Big Neil, New Mexico, or NM. Inquisitive, Mandy Bartley, Brother Heck, and Joshua Marshall, and Joe Wally, and Nichiwa. Quick question, bro. My last name is Ned, and I caught you last live. Could you elaborate a little bit more? Yeah, absolutely. What do you want me to elaborate on? I have a good friend named Jason Ned, who comes from the Choctaw tribe. Now, he's not a traditionalist by any stretch of the imagination, but his great uncle, Buster Ned, you can look him up. There's songs written about him, books. He was the Choctaw and Chickasaw school's headmaster, and he's the one that the one that solely kept up with the traditional dances. His father was actually a young man when the Choctaw made the trip over here from Mississippi. And, you know, he's basically the Choctaw and Chickasaw, or he was the Choctaw and Chickasaw historian. Very interesting man. He fought in 3 American wars, Korea, World War II, Korea, and he was in Vietnam as something. I forget what it was, but
It was like to be the last big medicine man.
he was Oklahoma's last great medicine man. And Oklahoma's the home of the Native American. It was Indian territory on your map back in the 1880s, which on a scale isn't that long ago. And that's what it is today. Due to Supreme Court ruling, half of my state has now gone back to the original treaties, which means it's right now my hometown where I'm sitting right now is reservation land. So, yeah, I'd look into it because you got to, I mean, the Ned family is very well known and has a very rich history and tapestry in the Choctaw people. and the Chickasaw, because the Choctaw and the Chickasaw come from the same. They were brothers that were a part of this tribe a long, long time ago, and just like Lot and Abram, they decided to go their own ways because they had accumulated so many people within their own tribes that they, like I said, went their own way. And they're brothers in that sense, but I've been at the dinner table with both in the private of their own. They're not fond of one another. So
That's the way it usually goes with family.
yep. But nevertheless, yeah, I grew up steeped in that stuff. From what I understand, I was the first black person, and I don't know how many years, invited to the Choctaw traditional dance. So son of Oklahoma. And I mean, it was like, I don't remember it being weird, but I think I was 13 or something. I don't know. I was somewhere flirting with a girl. I wasn't paying no attention to a bunch of dancing.
Yep. That's what you.
But I don't know if that elaborates at all on what you wanted, but that's what I meant by the net. We're going to get Jason Ned on here pretty quick, because we used to go on our adventures, man. I've been doing this for a lot longer than I realized. Just like investigating weird stuff.
Yeah.
Because back when we were 16 years old, that's what we went on that land for. Supposedly, Buster Ned's land is, because where it is the last place that the tribes were pushed. And his land supposedly has a medicine man burial ground on it somewhere. Like where the medicine men of all of the Southern Oklahoma tribes were buried. It's supposed to be the super sacred land, and it's hidden by such and such. And me as a kid, I just wanted to go there because, there'd be a sword and a stone, or some
arrowhead, something cool.
Some magical arrowhead or something that when I shot it, I'd be able to fly or some shit. I don't know. I just knew that there would be something there that I would have carried home, and my house has been demonized like 90 going north.
Yeah. Got what you was after, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, because back then I didn't think the grease meant fat, bro. I really didn't.
You did.
I was covered in that blood, thank God.
Yep.
Covered in the blood to have the angels around me, because if I didn't, I would have got pop knots put all over me.
Yeah, like my daddy used to say, you knock on that devil's door long enough, somebody might answer.
Oh, bro, we heard war drums. We heard women screaming. It was probably Squatch looking back on it, because it's right off the creek, which runs into the river that ain't far away. So, I mean, yeah, it was the one that got me, though, is when we first, it was the second time we went. I was 17, and it was me, Jason, and like 3 or 4 more of our buddies. It was 2 carloads full of us. And it was me and my girlfriend at the time, and it was Jason and my friend Anthony in my vehicle. And we went out there, and we heard these coyotes, because the whole property is surrounded by these thick woods that lead to this creek, which runs to the river, or from the river. And we went towards those woods, and like as soon as I remember distinctly, as soon as I had the thought in my mind, and because it was a full moon, it was pretty bright. As soon as I had the thought go through my mind of going towards those woods and going into them, bro, those coyotes sound like they had breached past that tree line.
Yeah.
And right where that was, we couldn't see. So, and it sounded like there was thousands of them, bro, at least dozens. So we got some yonder with a capital Y, and we're running back to the car, just like a movie, a horror movie. Like my girlfriend at the time trips and falls, and I was like, "Oh, we're dead." All I can remember is like wanting to get out there, but nobody remembers seeing a coyote. I remember being so close that I could hear them growl, and I could hear their jaws click.
Yeah. That's no good.
No, it's not no good if you can't see them. And I mean, it's high grass, but you're going to see a herd of coyotes coming at you.
I got a problem with the canine species anyway, because I had a Alaskan Husky attack me when I was a kid and tear part of my calf muscle out of my leg. I had a bunch of stitches, and I don't like them.
You know, Scrappy Doo, she got bit by that pit bull too. It's walking the same place, out in our house out in the country, walking the same little alley, because there's like 1 to 5 acre plots, and it's like this. Well, it was Indian land that was bought by this individual who turned it into this neighborhood. subdivision. Yeah, basically. And I remember old boy, this guy I was in high school with lived out there, and he was a Chickasaw, and he does a lot of woodwork, and he was asking me about this knot on a tree. Now we all know what a knot on a tree is. For the folks that don't, those were manipulated by Indians way back in the day. They would I forget how they did it. Something about tying a part of the tree off and warping it, and it'll have those knots on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what was told to me. I don't know, but he said he tried to cut one of those knots off the tree because he thought it was cool and he was going to work with it. He was out there. He said he remembers as soon as he put the saw to it and it started cutting into it, he felt a big hand. And he's 6'2", 6'3", maybe. He said he felt a big hand on his left shoulder push him, like somebody, running up on you and pushing you without you paying attention. And he said he hit the ground hard and he heard feet run past him, but he never did see anything. So he got up again and he said the hand hit him right in the chest. And it was just this massive black, blob, basically.
Yep.
Now, who do you think that was?
It was the welcome wagon.
Yep. So, bro, folks don't understand, Oklahoma's, especially southern Oklahoma, is chock full of that stuff. And it all goes back to what was going on here before. Folks need to understand, those settlers, when they came over here, they were fleeing religious persecution. They wanted to worship the same God we serve today. That means they have the same spirit that connects us.
Yeah.
They weren't over here just massacring folks. That's a lie that you've been told in academia.
Well, that's like the Crusades. The Christians are the big guys because
of
the Muslims have pushed us all the way from the Middle East over into the last corner of Europe, and we finally said no further.
Yep.
And
started pushing back. And then somehow they became when you hear Crusaders, people's mind goes to devil worshippers.
You're the bad guys.
My mama, with all her wisdom, she said a lot of very, very heavy duty stuff that was just filled to the brim with wisdom. And she said if the world's embracing it, it's probably a lie of the devil because he's the god of this world.
Yeah.
That makes sense. We talked about the the Choctaw, for instance. I found a picture of this family that could have been in my genealogy, in my family tree. You know what I'm saying? They're as black as I am. Yeah. And they were Choctaws. These people, like in your state, they were made to, if they didn't want to go along with the treaties that were signed. Now, we're not talking about the Trail of Tears. We're talking about when these elders and these chiefs, on behalf of their people who were landowners, who were just like us, you know what I mean? People. Yeah. They signed away their land and was given portions of Oklahoma, which was a territory at the time. Big portions of it. But they didn't understand that there ain't nothing here. This has the most man-made lakes it has the most man-made lakes in the world. People don't realize that. Oklahoma has the most man-made lakes in the entirety of the world. Why? Because they had to.
Yeah.
There's a town in Oklahoma called No Water.
No kidding.
So, yeah, so when these tribal members, they were like, no, I don't want it. I own 5-6 acres. I'm not signing no tree. I want to go to Oklahoma. What's in Oklahoma for me? They said, okay, you can stay. But a part of this treaty says all tribal members must leave. So if you stay, you're no longer a part of the tribe. And you have to choose between being an American citizen, that's X, or Y right here. So X was a mulatto, which is any race that's mixed with black. And the other one was black. So how could they intertwine them in the natural fabric of black Americans or mulatto Americans if they weren't that?
They couldn't. And then you've got the Black Dutch.
Yeah, the Black Dutch. And bro, and all that says to me is the Bible's true because we come from everywhere. We may be different peoples, but we're from all over the earth, every race.
Yeah, Indians that stayed, either if they were light enough, they were Black Dutch. They were a little bit darker, they were mulatto.
Yep. It's just crazy, bro. Because like there a lot of black folks believe that not all of our ancestors, I say most of them, did not come from Africa. I mean, it's 100 degrees here in southern Oklahoma. I can guarantee you, I don't have the genetics of somebody came from hot ass Africa. This heat makes me so mad. I don't know what to do with myself.
Well, I'm like Jesus Hotep about that. It's called common sense.
Yeah, well, it ain't so common. Well, when you look at the registry, the only registry they could find from the slave trade showed one vessel that had like 800 people, or in the logs from this place where they would come through, there was 800 people, and there's only one picture has been taken of a slave vessel.
And
look
that
at the arduous journey
coming from the Bahamas. It wasn't coming from Africa.
Exactly. I mean, like when you look at that crazy voyage and the nautical means by which we had to make it, they even say what 7 out of 9 of the ships went down. That's great. Then why would you continue to do like what fool? No, they wouldn't. Nobody would. They didn't get rich being fools.
No.
7 out of 9 of our vessels have went down with all of the staff and all these slaves. I'll just send out another one. I'm sure this one will make it through. What?
Like that wasn't costing nothing.
Yeah. But see, that's putting too much common sense on it, you see. When you start looking at things as is, instead of as they're telling you verbatim.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can look at those heads down there called the Olmecs.
Yep.
We're talking about a stone head the size of a Volkswagen that's been there for over 1,000 years. And I'm just going to tell you like it is, they're Africans.
Yep. Or what people consider to be Africans.
Well, what they're called Africans. You know, black people didn't call it Africa. It's actually named after a Roman general named Africanus that was a white man.
Yep. Africanus. But that's the thing about it. Like somebody from Africa, people's minds automatically goes to black. People from Europe, people's minds automatically goes to white. When there's black folks in Europe who traces their family back for thousands of years, and white folks in Africa who can do the same, it makes no sense, and it's a part of that division. Like if people don't know their history, then
you can
get them to. No, you can get them to latch on to anything too. You can get them to take offense at all this stupid stuff that really don't matter because they don't know who they are. That's why I'm glad we have an identity in Christ. You know what I'm saying? When we become made into a new creature, all that rigmarole just gets pushed to the side.
Well, we're all the seed of Abraham.
Amen. The father of our faith.
Yeah, there's nothing else necessary.
But you can't convince everybody of that, though.
I know.
Tell them about the cedars of
Lebanon.
The cedars of Lebanon.
Well, there's several things that they mined up there in the Great Lakes. I think it's in Minnesota. Most scientists believe that's where the copper that fueled the Bronze Age came from.
Yep.
There's never been any copper mines found in Europe and the Middle East that would produce that kind of copper.
And it's strange. Like America doesn't show up in the histories or the annals of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this land was completely unoccupied.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got these the great cedars of Lebanon. It talks about in the Bible. They even used them building the temple. And but there's nothing on Lebanon but scrub cedar that don't get more than about 4 or 5 foot high.
Which doesn't meet the descriptions made in the Bible.
Yeah, the only place that has redwood trees the size that's talked about of the cedars of Lebanon is out of America, in Washington State, in Oregon. The Sequoia redwoods. That's it. And then you've got Brazil. You take that name back to the old Phoenician and Hebrew, it means diamond. You remember King Solomon was famous for
his diamond mines. Yep.
Yeah.
King Solomon's mines.
Yeah. And old Christopher Columbus just happened to bring 2 Hasidic Jews with him when he
Now,
came,
why would he
and
bring 2
everybody
Hasidic
wanted-
Jews?
Yeah. So he could communicate with the people when he got here.
There you go. So if he brought 2 Hasidic Jews to communicate, I mean, 2 and 2 equals 4 all day long in southern Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And they found
Yeah.
those tablets with the 10 Commandments on it. Not to interrupt you, but they found those tablets up in Ohio, buried deep in the ground.
And
And if you
Back
believe
Creek
carbon
Stone,
dating, I mean,
Tennessee.
they're old. Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. So we got all this stuff with these ancient artifacts that they're digging out of the ground in America with Hebrew on them.
Yep.
And it's like they'll tell you that, but they just breeze past it like it's no big deal. And I guess people need the emphasis put on it for them or something. I don't know. I don't know how people can't just grab that and say, wait a minute. So if the cedars of Lebanon are here and the diamond mines are here, then maybe America plays a deeper role in biblical knowledge than we actually first gave it credit for. Bro, even as a kid, I've always felt like looking at the back of those Bibles where they would have the maps. It never felt right looking at them, bro. Like it felt like something was off.
Yeah.
That's another part of our history that's been taken from us, that the locations or the geography of this world, and as it occurs with spiritual and historical events, like it's not what they're telling us it is.
Well, they found, stuff from Egypt in Australia.
Yep.
Ancient Egypt.
And cocaine in Egypt.
In the mummies,
There was traces of cocaine. Yeah, there was traces of
And
cocaine. How the hell
tobacco.
did that get there? And tobacco. So what are we talking about? Like, how did these things, like, unless they had a nautical knowledge and
They also
technology,
had corn. They also
Yep.
had corn.
that's painted into 1,000-year-old monastery buildings.
Yeah. And you've got scriptures talking about the disciples going through the field and picking ears of corn.
Yep. In that
How
language.
did they have that? How did they have that? The corn hadn't even been discovered yet, supposedly.
Unless they were where corn is growing.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a deep cut. This is, I mean, it's heavy duty what I'm about to say. It's some inside baseball. At the Freemasonic Temple in Washington, D.C., the Grand Masons Lodge, right? And that's the biggest one in America. That's where you go to receive your 33rd degree. There's a tomb inside that building to the unknown one. And it's no big secret that it's Hiram LaBeouf.
Yep.
Hiram LaBeouf, who was the architect and the engineer, basically, of King Solomon's temple. And you can look it up on your own if you want to see the rituals that go along with that. But he's a highly, highly revered figure in Freemasonic lore. Now, what if that was Hiram LaBeouf? And what if America was more prominent in the Bible than what people think geographically? What if some of these big events that we thought happened here really happened there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I got a question for you.
what's up?
There's only one place in the Bible that matches the geological description or the geographical description of Zion in the last days. That's America.
Yep.
And you know that Mount Zion, the original Mount Zion in Israel, was destroyed. The Romans literally took engineers in and leveled it.
Yeah, and they leveled it. That was a big destruction job. That was a big, construction feat. They leveled a mountain.
There's a lot of things in the Bible that I think that are not what we've been.
I was thinking about what you were saying the other night about the description of the atom bomb.
Yeah.
I think some of these things that we're seeing, like Jericho going around, I read Joshua last night. Something just pulled me into it. Oh, I read the verse about when the angel of the Lord stood before him. And Joshua basically said, are you friend or foe? And the Lord, because I think that's a Christophany. And for those who don't know, a Christophany is a pre-manifestation of Jesus Christ in the Old Testament. Jesus Christ showed up in the Old Testament. Sometimes he was called the angel of the Lord. Well, why do you think that was Jesus Christ, D? The angel of the Lord is the only angel in Scripture, or in the deuterocanonical, or deuterocanonical is the word, or apocryphal text. He's the only one that accepts worship as him being God. Every time any other book, I don't care where it is in the Bible, you see somebody fall on their face to worship an angel, that angel's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
no, don't do that.
Don't
yeah,
do that.
I'm your fellow servant. I'm your fellow soldier. Get up, hurry up. Don't worship me, worship God, he said. So, I mean, when I see that Abram's wife, Jacob, who Jacob wrestled,
Yep.
that was a Christophany. I believe that Melchizedek is a Christophany, and that's why Jesus was made a priest by the order of Melchizedek.
Yep.
Because why would Jesus need to be made who he is by the order of any man? The only thing he took from man is the baptism, because he acknowledged John the Baptist's baptism as being the true way. First, you have to be baptized in water, then by the Spirit of God, to be born again. That's what you call it. You can read all about it in the Bible, folks. But but man, it's wild. Like those deeper truths,
Yeah.
the deep cuts, we call them, that you get from the Bible. I want everybody to get to that point where they have that just thirst, and that where they're just famished for the Word of God, and they dig into it so they can get those deeper truths, because it makes things a whole lot clearer and gives you a whole lot more peace.
Yes, it does.
And that's what I want for everybody, man. You know that. Like, I want everybody to be able to dwell in peace with one another and with themselves.
The only way to be.
I don't know, there's other ways to be. We could be we can rebel against God and get our game smoked.
No, that ain't no way to be. You won't be for long.
No, you would hope they wouldn't, but you know, and I know, and Jesus knows that there's people that are full tilt boogie and staunch rebellion against God.
Oh yeah.
Chance after chance after chance after chance, and Lord admonish them and give them a whoop and take them to the woodshed, just like he does us. No, I want to do things my way still. I don't care if I get the chastisement in the Spirit or not. I want to do things my way. My way is the best way.
Because I think
that it's the religion of I think, I know, I feel, I want. There's no compassion towards anybody else because they can't look outside themselves.
Nope. Must be terrible to live like that. Must be.
Well, guess what, bro? They can have it.
You got that. All day long.
All day long. If all I got to do is love folks and pray with them and pray for them and give them the truth of the word, and that's all I got to do, and then I don't have to burn forever.
Yeah, I'll take that deal.
I'll take that deal.
But I will say them people are a challenge.
They're mentally challenged.
No,
What?
They're a
Say one more-
challenge. I didn't say they were mentally challenged. I said they're a challenge.
Oh, well, I'd say mentally challenged for some of them. Like when you, I mean, good night. If like you're saying blasphemous things about the Lord, and nothing but bad things are being like scraped into you know what I'm saying? Like nothing but bad stuff's happening to you, and you're like, oh, I don't believe in God. There is no God. Blah blah blah. I believe in science and man and blah, and you just keep getting wrecked. I try something on different, like, you know what I mean? See if something else was a better fit.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing about it. Like, people give their opinions on Islam, and it's their opinion, and they're going about their business. If we talk about Krishna and Vishnu and all that, what is that religion? The Buddhists and the Hindu and all that. We can talk about that. Even paganism, we can talk about that, and we can disagree with it, and we can move on with that person and still have some sort of intelligent conversation. But you bring up the Lord Jesus Christ. That's a dividing line. That's the lightning rod. Everybody has to have a strong opinion on our faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, because we have faith in a man that's also God, that rose from the dead, who was born from a virgin, All these things for the natural man is hard to believe.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, because they're the natural man. You have to understand their spirit.
The thing that's always got me, if they're a natural man and they don't believe, why do I care if I...
Say that last part one more time.
Why do they, if I do?
There's the $1 million question. They shouldn't, by all means, because if somebody's worshiping Odin and kneeling before the tree Yggdrasil, and they got Thor's Mjolnir around their neck, Thor's hammer. That's their business, Yeah, that's no skill. I can't fellowship with this person in spirit and truth, but I can have an intelligent conversation with them. I can have empathy towards them and compassion. Yeah. But that's not my brother or my sister. You see, and that don't make them bad. That don't make them evil.
No.
But turn it around the other way. We're ignorant. We're arrogant. We're hypocrites. And then they'll wag their finger and tell us how to be Christians. Oh, you call yourself a Christian, but blah, 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 blah.
How we're supposed to live. Yeah.
Yeah. How we're supposed to adhere to our religious beliefs. Yeah. We don't say just because they're not dressed up in them prison jumpsuits like them Buddhists were over there, and those Buddhists that do that, they stand on sticks and bend water and all that kind of weird shit. Yeah. We don't tell that just because they're not running on the sides of buildings that they're not being good Buddhists.
No.
I don't know if that's what they do. I just had a picture of Jet Li in my head.
Well, I mean, that's what
they probably could, though. Well, I mean, I've seen some real Buddhists do some stuff.
They got super because they're vegan.
They got super demons, what they got.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Superpowers, my ass. Yeah, they got superpowers, all right.
Yeah, they get super smart, super strong.
And they're going to get a super ass whooping from God, too. He ain't playing those type of games with nobody.
Did you watch that video I was telling you about where the vegan woman starved her to death?
No, I couldn't watch that, bro. That's depressing stuff. Starved herself to death. That's demonism. I'm sorry.
And avocados.
That's demonism. The Bible even speaks of us not just taking meals that are vegetables and whatnot, to be leery of the people that tell us that.
Oh yeah.
He put all these things here for our good pleasure, for our consumption. That's why he gave us dominion over it. And that sheep that came down from heaven for Peter, do not call unclean what the Lord has cleansed.
Right.
So go on ahead and eat that couple of strips of bacon with your eggs. Pray over your food, and keep it moving.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's still adverse effects that you could have from eating pork. I know it. That's the risk you take. There's adverse effects from drinking soda too.
There's adverse effects from getting up out of the bed.
If you ain't doing nothing but if you're raising your own food and you're drinking spring water, you're doing pretty good. You know what I mean? If you're eating anything from the grocery store, you're in the same boat that somebody eating a bag of Skittles and drinking a Mountain Dew.
Or worse.
Yeah. I mean, they put so much stuff in our food, it's unreal. Cloning it and that MSG or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Monsanto.
Antibiotics.
Yep. All sorts of bro. That one thing you sent me about the Yeah. That's crazy.
In the
yes.
Food. Yeah.
Like how do you make that mistake? Fetal tissue in our food. That's satanic, bro. That's satanic.
Yeah.
Because they're tissue. Yep, they're trying to force us. It's that old school magic with a K all day long.
Yeah, to be cannibals, partakers of the murders of those children.
Yep. Man, that's the most wickedest thing. Like, I saw that and it took me a minute to even just kind of wrap my mind around. Yeah, to process it. But that's what they're doing. They're bringing us in, unbeknownst to ourselves. They're bringing us into some sort of weird covenant.
Yeah.
And I plead the blood of the Lord against them, Lord Jesus Christ. And I rebuke them.
Yeah.
I don't want to come in agreement with none of that stuff they got going on, bro.
No.
Because if they're going through the extremes, aborted fetal tissue, bro, there's no excuse for that.
Yeah, it's a flavor.
How does that accidentally happen? Flavor enhancer, like I'd love to give them a flavor enhancer.
You ain't kidding, man.
Because you know they sit back and laugh about it, bro. They call us the Goyim.
They do.
They call us Goyim. They call us dogs. the Goyim, and what did old that one heifer that was going in front of the Ku Klux Klan? That's old
Margaret Sanger.
HC's Margaret Sanger, the big hero, the big feminist hero.
Yeah.
God Almighty, that
You know,
woman
they've
was
got-
that's the bride of Satan.
Yeah. They've got a Sanger Theater, I think, in every major city in this country.
A Singer theater.
Sanger Theater. Named after Margaret Sanger. Yeah.
What do you mean a Sanger theater?
A theater, an opera house. The old theater that's in most towns is
Yeah.
called Sanger Theater.
No kidding.
No kidding. Went to see a concert in one
Like the Carnegie
about a
Library.
year ago. Yeah. Exactly.
Wow. How can they reconcile that? Because that information is readily available, bro. Like she was. I mean, the Ku Klux Klan. They were jumping for joy when they got to. Margaret Sanger came and she was in the bully pulpit. You can see her stand up on picnic tables and them all jumping up. Like,
I know. And her and Hitler wrote love letters too.
yeah, they were there. They wrote the love letters and kissy faces and stuff on them. XOXO to Hitler. I mean, good night, bro. It's like you're living in a land of madness.
You can't make
This reality we're talking about. Yeah, this ain't some book that I read.
Yeah, you could write a fiction story like this.
You could put all these verbatim facts
Nah, you,
into a fictional story, and it would seem maybe more plausible. Because this woman who said she hated the poor, within those words, and hated people of color, and how they were it was a
Useless
tragedy for them to
weeds.
have to useless weeds, and it was a tragedy for them to go about life thinking that they're gonna be anything more than what they are. And she came up with that. She was a proponent. She didn't come up with it, but she was a proponent of eugenics, like sterilizing folks of color, of all different kinds of color, and poor people. So she wasn't. She was just evil. She wasn't just prejudiced. Prejudice is
Yeah.
ignorance. She was straight evil.
yeah.
She hated man,
If you,
mankind, folks, man and woman.
If a child got D's in school and their parents got D's in school, they were called morons.
Yeah, they were called morons, and she referred to them like that in her speeches, in her regular speech.
The judges would refer to them like that, and the prosecuting attorney, they would bring them in and call them morons and have them sterilized.
My Lord, that's
Yeah.
terrible.
They'd sterilize them forcibly.
Now you ain't got no. I don't want to be sterile. I don't want to be sterilized. Well, you don't have a choice in the matter. You're a moron.
Morons shouldn't be allowed to replicate.
Yep. So if you're some old country boy who all you knew how to read is the Bible and everything, and you could read classically written Victorian English, like 90 going north, because I mean the Bible's some beautiful writing. The King James Bible is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
But you couldn't read My Yellow Cat Named Sam. They just smoke your game in the future, and that's crazy. But
No kidding.
But Margaret Sanger was that deeply ingrained. She was a public figure. She shouldn't be a part of any kind of decision making like that anyways. Who is she? Planned Parenthood.
And
Yeah, that's
have
a
them write
plan.
it into the law that a moron could not reproduce.
Hmm. In this country.
Yeah.
It's in some faraway land where they speak gobbledygook. Do you know what I mean? This ain't some like mystic time in the past.
Yeah. A whole bunch of
Right.
them. So.
Well, I'll tell you another one of these. I don't even know what the devils, for lack of a better word, I don't even know what you call them, like globalists.
Yep. I call them Luciferians. That's what they really are.
That's what they really are. They're not Satanists. They're Luciferians. Because see, the Luciferians are the aristocracy of devil worshippers, and then you got like the trailer park, bottom barrel, across the tracks Satanists.
Yeah.
And Anton LaVey was really a Luciferian posing as a Satanist. so he can bring everybody into some sort of soft serve agreement with Satanism. Because what did he say when he came out? Oh, and this is the church who worships the father of all lies, folks. When I tell you this, just keep that in your back pocket moving forward. This jabroni convinces all of America that these lawyers, doctors, sheriffs, politicians, Sammy Davis Jr. was one of their deacons. He had everybody convinced that, oh, well, this church of Satan's where we worship our own greed and archery, where we can wallow in ourselves and our own achievements. We're really humanists, you see. We're we're animal lovers. We do. Yeah, we do work with these saving animals and all this kind of stuff. You'll see them crying about some dead dog on the side of the road, but they'll create you as the body on the side of the road. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's as wicked as it
don't
gets.
mind dropping a million kids, but let somebody toss a dog out the door.
Yeah, we'll murder your child within your belly, you see. That don't mean nothing to us. But I'll be damned if you're going to kill a chicken to feed your family. I'll be damned.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a world of madness, bro. They'll have heart attacks if you shoot a pigeon out of the sky, they're liable to have a stroke.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll kill your kid right in your wife's stomach. Not think twice about it. Damn that kid. But this little endangered snail over here, we need millions of acres just in case y'all decide to walk towards that area.
Yeah.
Good night, man. It's like, so when do people say, all right, that's enough of that? You know, y'all go sit down over there. We'll take it from here.
That's a good question.
It has to be coming, bro. It has to be. It's not just us. It's around the world. Look at France just a handful of months ago. They were singing songs like they were when they killed that Louis the whatever. They took him out and hung his ass. They were singing the same songs for that old boy over there.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
So I mean, and throughout history, bro, for whatever reason, what they pose to be democracy, our way of capitalistic type of government that we have, we've taken a lot from France.
Yeah.
And they're mad about it.
We don't have a free market or capitalism. What we have is crony capitalism.
It is crony capitalism.
Of the
glad-handed. Well, you know what, bro? No, I can't say that. I was going to say if it was us and some of our brothers and our friends, I would like to say it'd be crony capitalism with us, except we love the Lord and we belong to him. That means that we wouldn't just have some selfish in-house stuff going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we have the Bible to guide us.
Look, I'm of this mind on that. The worker's worth his wages. To attain that high of a position and they, got it by merit, I've got no problem with them making good money. And I mean millions if they can. That's all good and well.
But it's not that way.
Don't kill people and starve people and the things that y'all are doing to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, see, that's the unnecessary stuff, like old Four Eyes with his handsome wife, Bill Gates. He's over there, I mean, giving these vaccines to all these kids while he's doing TED Talks about lowering the population. And he says it casually. He's a globalist, so he thinks that there's too many people.
And then just magically 600,000 people in India get non-polio paralysis.
Non-polio what?
Paralysis.
Yeah, 600,000.
You've got a polio germ in your body that they put there by the vaccine. And you have all the symptoms of polio, but we're going to call it non-polio paralysis.
And that's what everybody's going to go with, and their understanding is going to come from that because they don't have the spirit of truth.
Yeah.
You got to have that spirit of truth moving forward.
The Archbishop of Africa allegedly tested the vaccines and came out and said that they had been altered to sterilize the women.
That sounds about right. Because, see, we're way too much for them now. and all this programming they're doing through the TV shows, through the movies, I think the Lord's starting to shake people out of that stuff.
Well, that's like
You know, like those old black and white movies when the starlet goes into hysterics and somebody shakes her.
Yeah.
Calm down, wake up.
Or slaps, or says, snap out of it.
Yeah, snap out of it. That's what the Lord's doing to a lot of people across the land.
Yeah, they slap the spit out of their mouth and say, snap out of it.
And then they just kind of shake their face. Oh, I lost control there for a minute. Yeah. Now we're back in reality. Now let's see what's really going on.
Yeah.
They got something waiting for every mad jack one of us, whether you hear my voice in Africa or England or Australia or Las Vegas. They got something waiting for you. And it ain't good. But I think they're about to roll it out, bro. I really do. And let me give you my scenario.
It may be.
Let's say, and this is just, I'm just gonna project something out there. Let's say that there's some sort of a tragedy of some kind here in the United States. I don't want to go into what. Just think of like one of these, nationwide tragedies that everybody looks at and nobody can deny is something terrible that happened. That takes place at the same time over some big, huge American city. And it's going to have to be a city where everybody sees it, nobody can deny it. And they got the technology for that. We know that. At that same time that this, tragic thing is taking place, boom, a fleet of UFOs go over a city. You see little individual green men dropping down on the apartment buildings and skyscrapers. Now, what's going to be going on in those apartment buildings and skyscrapers? One of these merc squads is going to be coming through there, laying waste. And they're going to say that was the first attack of these, of our so-called Star Brothers. They're hostile. That's the narrative that they're presenting. People aren't really seeing it, but that's what they're saying. These UAPs are hostile. It's entered into congressional record now that they have shut down weapon systems on our soil. They shut down the navigation tools on our jets.
Well,
Those are hostile actions.
That's because they're your peaceful space brothers, and they was saving us from a nuclear war.
Well, I'm an American, and I got an American way of thinking. I don't need no saving from no benevolent space brother, because the only benevolent space brothers I have are those who went before me to drink from the fountains of the waters of life. Yeah. These things are it's more than obvious that they're interdimensional. They're not intergalactic.
You never hear about the fact that in Russia they turned the countdown on. You just hear over here they turned it off.
Yep. See, they're trying to put us into conflict with one another. They have the same agenda as these globalists. They're preaching the same sermon about nature.
Globalists got it.
Exactly. So when we come into these 10 zones that they want to make, where they have a king that controls all these countries, right? Not just some nation on nation. That's too much. We need one person over these regions. So we'll have a king of the entirety of the U.S., the southern U.S., the Southern America, Canada. Then there'll be another region, Africa, and all these things will be said. They have it carved out the way they do on the map for a reason on that UN map. That's what they want.
That's the regions laid out.
Absolutely. And why did they pick 10? Why did it have to be 10?
Because the 10 kings have to give their power over to the man.
Prophecy has to be fulfilled.
Yep.
They know it just as well as we do. That's why I say they're religious to the bone, bro. They know the Bible better than some Christians, sadly enough. And they're running their plays based off the book.
Yeah, but the problem is they keep forgetting
we're coming
about
from
the
our own
last part of the
understanding.
book. They keep skipping them last few chapters.
Yep. And they'll lean into fear and anxiety because of all these things that are coming upon us without having an understanding that the Lord's coming right behind it. He's going to roll the sky back like a scroll. Mm-hmm. And even then, when the Spirit of God's taken from the earth and they see all this stuff, he's going to put out a hand and says, come, drinketh freely, all who will.
Well, the churches have been teaching for a long time that it's the man of sin all this stuff happens to, and not that beast system.
And see, that's the thing. People are looking for an individual.
Yeah. And the beast system's all around them. It's doing everything that said that they thought an individual was going to do. That's doing. But what's going to happen to those cats in the last days is that sin's going to turn on them and throw them under the bus.
But bro, they're going to be so busy. They're going to see things that nobody could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Think about this. They're talking about they're bringing back the woolly mammoth. You know that, right?
And you've got all these people talking all these crazy ideas and doing all this crazy stuff and shoving it down everybody's throat. What better way to get the whole world behind you than to be the man that chopped the head of that high?
Exactly. That's what it would have to be. We got to be under the yoke of that beast system. We have to be locked in our homes and subjugated. And where I mean, everybody's afraid to give their opinion. There won't be shows like this where we can speak freely like this. That'll be dead. And then one man's going to step up and make all that go away all over the world.
Just like
everybody would get
Twitter,
behind that man.
Except everywhere.
Yep. When you see that man, you know it's time to head that way. Bro, I'm going to just walk outside because it ain't going to be too long. He said, when you see these things come to pass, lift up your head, for your redemption draweth nigh.
And see, that's the scenario I see taking place. I think all the rest of that other stuff is going to go the way it goes. It's going to.
I think it's all to lead to that, bro.
Yeah,
tell you the truth.
But I think that right there is going to be their Waterloo, and that's going to be the thing that everybody turns on them for, and that man of sin is going to be leading the pack.
Damn, that's heavy duty. And everybody would be behind them because everybody would be subjugated under the yoke of this madness.
Exactly. They want it off. Everybody knows it's unnatural, that it's not right, and that we can't do this. Nobody wants to say it, but everybody knows it, and we're all just waiting. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yep.
And when that other shoe drops, that man of sin is going to be there waiting, and he's going to lead the counter revolution to it.
And this is something we talk about too that I want people to kind of meditate on and pray on. It talks about he sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Aren't we the temple of the one true living God? Like,
yes, we are.
So it's talking
Jesus
about this.
said it.
Yep.
He said, "You tear this temple down, and I'll rebuild it in 3 days." And they knew not that he was not speaking of the building, but of himself.
That's exactly right. And we become partakers of that when we become a new creature, born again through Christ Jesus, through him. Yep. And that's the beauty of it, bro. Like, people don't understand. They're talking about this physical man going and sitting in a physical temple. No, the spirit, whatever kind of mojo he has, where his essence or his spirit. I don't believe his spirit can be in multiple different places. I think if Satan's in Alaska, Satan's in Alaska. You know what I'm saying? I think he can move through time and space in a way that's beyond our comprehension, because when it said he took Jesus to the top of the steeple, then he took Jesus to the top of the mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world a moment of time. He took him these places. So I don't think that he was like, all right, Jesus, hop in this buggy here, and we're going to go to the top of this mountain next. While Jesus was fasting in the wilderness for 40 days, no. He was grabbing him because he was weak in his flesh and flying through space and time. Now they're top of steeple. Now the top of mountain. So if he can, in Book of Job, he says, I've gone to and fro in the earth and up and down in it. Mm-hmm. You got to look at the words the way they're delineated, and like when you read the Bible and do word studies is all I could suggest for people. When you start getting into the meat of it, you understand the adversary is the adversary with a capital A for a reason. He ain't nothing to mess around with. Mm-hmm. Even Peter, the Lord said, "I'll see." The Lord said that He sought to sift you like wheat, and it took fasting and prayer. The man with the capital M, God manifested in the flesh, said that he had to fast and pray. For Peter, that's heavy duty, bro.
Yep. You know, another thing is that everybody reads that in the Bible where Peter and Jesus had that talk there. You know, they had that talk in front of Pan's cave.
Yeah, that's the gates of hell that would not stand against him.
Uh-huh.
Right there at the very bottom of that mountain where he was on the top of it, right at the very bottom was this Pan's Gate where they would walk through this corridor. I'm glad you said that. They walked through this corridor, folks, that went underneath a mountain. And on either side of them was one of these men who would give them the Gnostic knowledge. They would whisper these unseen truths into their ears as they went through this tunnel. And they would go through this darkness of this cave, and it opened up into this beautiful grotto with this natural spring pool, the beautiful Roman architecture, and an effigy to guess who? Cernunnos, Pan. Who is he in the Bible that they sent the scapegoat to? Same type of fallen angel, I believe. Azazel. Azazel is Pan. Azazel is Cernunnos. There's no doubt in my mind. He's the god of the woods and sexual perversion, according to the Romans and the Greeks. That's Cernunnos. How about that? This and he was written into Bill Shakespeare's play. What is that? Midnight in the Garden? No, Midnight.
Midsummer Night's
A Midsummer Night's Dream. Yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream. And I mean, he was an old pervert in that too.
Yeah. It's just the same stuff all over.
It's just crazy. That it is.
Over and over and over and over.
And it's so obvious, bro.
Yeah.
You call that the facility in Geneva CERN.
Yeah.
And they put it right where Apollo's temple is. And there's a statue to the god of destruction, Shiva, doing the dance of destruction within the wheel.
Yep.
I mean, come on. What are we talking about? Like, yeah, that's ancient Rome stuff. If people are here thousands of years from now, they're going to be looking back like we look back at the so-called Greco-Romantic era with all the craziness they were doing there. They'll be looking at us that way.
Yeah. Well,
they'll find CERN and say that was a temple.
It's getting that crazy.
When people can't look at the CERN facility and see that it is absolutely positively a satanic temple and a Stargate, when you got folks arguing against that it's really just some scientific endeavor that they're doing, building the world's largest machine right in the spot where they built it. And then right down the road, they have the Gothard Tunnel. That's a type of portal.
I wonder where they're making that big one here in America. You know, they've made a big one here in America now.
A big what?
One in China. Superconductor that's supposed to dwarf CERN.
Well, there's one in Chicago, and there's one in, I believe, North Carolina. No, they shut the one in Texas. Never did open.
Sure, they did.
No, I did never. It never did open, bro. That's what they said. You listen to them, they'll tell you. They had a tunneler that could dig. I don't want to tell the folks the wrong stuff.
It was like 7 miles a day.
But they have. What was it?
I think the tunneler 7 miles a day.
It had the capability of going 7 miles a day. That's what I thought it was, but that didn't feel right in my mind because that's a long ways. But they had that thing running in shifts for 24 hours for almost 2 years. They had that tunneler going 24-hour shifts.
Equipment in there. They brought those billions of dollars worth of equipment in there, and never out of there.
But I'm telling you that they said they
turned
flooded.
Off the lights.
They flooded it, brother. They flooded all those tunnels that they were digging for 2 years and 24-hour shifts with those things that can drill for 7 miles a day.
Yeah, and they're spending
and all that expensive
equipment.
All that expensive equipment was just, bro. That was just, you got to pay the cost to be the boss, I guess. That's a shame.
Millions of dollars on these generation magnets the size of 18-wheelers.
Bro, they're gonna turn that son of a gun on, and I don't know what they're waiting on. There's probably been on, but they're trying to. This is my opinion because you're right. There's one in China. There's 2 in the States, but they're small. Yeah. I don't think those things are in the positions they are, or in the areas, the geographical area they are, for no reason. I think it's very, very important and pertinent. They're trying to trigger something, like how the pyramids, how they lined up where the ley lines cross. Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind that's where they have those facilities, And I think they're trying to triangulate some madness. Like they're going to spark all those things on it. They're going to, the big one in Geneva is probably like the lightning rod for the rest of them. And I don't know what they're trying to do, but I think that they know full well what they're trying to do. And it ain't nothing good. They're trying to open up a portal where everything on that.
Exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah. What do you think?
They've actually said it. They're trying to open a portal and get them loose out of that dimension.
Yeah, they're trying to turn them all the way loose. And when they take those pictures at the Ephesus of it, the front of it, like when they spark that machine on and it's that giant face and it's got these alien looking beings like looking out through the beam. Have you seen that?
Yeah, they say they're going to bring the Earth, Mars, Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter back together in their pre-flood alignment, or actually pre-atom alignment.
Oak Ridge in Tennessee is where one of them is.
Yeah, and take us out of what we're in now and just go back to the golden age. You know, back when people could live for hundreds of years or thousands of years, and
as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. Dang. Well, what they're gonna do is release Abaddon.
Yeah, well,
he's gonna come swinging that fiery sword, and he's gonna start with them. But nobody's going to open that until the Lord opens it. The Lord said he's going to send an angel with it. That angel has to come down here with that key. They're trying to pick a lock. You know what I mean?
Well, I can tell you right now, they think they want Apollo to come out of the hole.
I've been thinking about that too, bro. They had an angel over them. They had a prince over them that was the angel of the bottomless pit. It didn't say like it was an angel. Is that a fallen angel, or is he like the warden?
Or Apollyon?
Apollyon, yeah.
Apollyon is Apollo.
The destroyer.
Apollo, yeah.
Yeah, Apollyon. Mm-hmm. Now think about this. We are to judge angels. We wouldn't be judging them just based off if they were just completely all wicked. They had some sort of autonomy and they had some sort of ability for individual thinking, which gave them the selfishness to want to come on to Earth and take wives, right?
Well,
if they had those abilities, hear me out real fast. If they had those abilities, wouldn't they have the same ability within themselves to regret and pontificate and ponder on what they've done for these tens of thousands or however long it was or it's been? So what if they are trying to, some of them, you have these benevolent gods in the pantheons, and then you have these wicked gods in the pantheons. What if these ones in Greek mythology and the African Orishas, the ones that were benevolent, that seem to want to do man good, are the ones saying, hey, I messed up. Like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna help man now. You see what I'm saying? Because we're gonna judge angels, we're gonna be judging them. If they were all evil, we can just say send them all to the pit.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I'm not going to be making appeals to Orishas or anything to find out whether they're good or whether they're bad.
No, I'm going to wait until the Lord puts us in those positions. And then, I'm not talking to them. I'm not asking them nothing. I don't suggest nobody else do either. That's the last thing you want to do is ask some spirit what he thinks is going on. Because you don't know what spirit you're talking to. That's what gets me, man. These people who talk to these spirits and stuff, and they say, oh, it's old Aunt such and such, and Grandma, and Pop. They spoke through this lady, and it sounded like his voice and everything, and he knew when I rode my tricycle for the first time, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, those spirits that were watching you knew too. So I don't understand. I never have understood why everybody's so ready to accept that their deceased family members are wandering around aimless, like, and how we being flesh
on, and they think that death is the end. Some of them.
Well, if they think that's the end, then why would they believe that the spirit or the essence of that loved one is wandering around?
Well, see, a lot of them think that just hangs around for so long and then kind of fades away to nothing.
Based on what though? Do they believe this?
Well, that's I think her name was
Madame
Helena Blavatsky.
Oh, yeah, that heifer. She can cause so many problems from the grave, it's unreal. Mm-hmm. She's nuts. She was nuts. Everybody knew she was an alcoholic Luciferian. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden there's people taking her teachings, if you want to call them that, taking her madness, and they're running with it as being like gospel fact. They're making it akin to the Bible.
Yeah.
She's the one that came up with all that junk about how Jesus was over there in Egypt and the Middle East learning from these Gnostics and these soothsayers.
They don't think it's akin to the Bible. They think it's superior. We left out these important books and didn't get half the understanding we should have gotten. We had all those, those tomes that are under the Vatican that proves that Jesus, went and learned from a bunch of yogis and all this other stuff. We would get right on the train, man. We'd
the
be
Christ
right on
consciousness and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, we'd be all lined out.
I guess I'll remain in ignorance on that because,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we even, man?
I agree.
That's some of the dumbest shit. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is ridiculously expensive and costly.
Yeah, but why you?
Well, I don't know, bro. Like I tell you all the time in private conversation. I tell all these people, if 400 or 500 people listen, or 10,000, it makes me nauseous and sick. Just thinking about if some of the stuff that I've heard people say would come out of my mouth, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I'd have every light in the house on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'd have every light in the house on, like, in a night light, and sleep with 8 covers over my head, thinking the Lord's going to just smoke me. Yeah, I'd have. Yeah, I'd force somebody to sleep in the bed with me. They'd be mad about it.
Yeah, be like that.
Break mirrors.
I'm gonna have to kill you too and take you with me because I don't want to go to hell alone.
Yeah, right. I'm scared to go by myself because they know that's where they're going, bro. That's why they bust them mirrors out there, afraid to see what them demons is and let them to believe in that nonsense. Scared when I'm just gonna snatch them up. Gotcha. Time to go.
Yeah.
Because I mean, people have to know in there. I'm scared to go by myself. People have to know in their heart. Talking that type of weird shit that like I said, I couldn't do it. I don't even like ingest or even to what do you call it? Like quote somebody, say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Good and damn well he wasn't learning flying carpets and learning from yogis and all that junk. He was learning to be a carpenter from his stepdad is what he was doing. Yeah. And probably doing push-ups, turning into a pure savage.
And submitting himself to their authority.
And submitting himself to their authority and the authority of God, and learning from the Bible that he inspired to write, and dwelling among man and learning how to be a man.
Yeah.
That's more beautiful than, he went over to Syria and in the Middle East and learned to fly and all this other kind of weird stuff they say.
He became one of them ascended masters.
Yeah, we need to bring back them sanatoriums. Some people need to be taking that cold bath, and they go right from there to where they shock the shit out of them, shock them back to reality, I guess.
Yeah,
that's probably what those people thought they were doing. Well, they heard folks saying, Jesus is an ascended master and the Christ consciousness, because that's right in the on the heels of Helena Blavatsky putting out all that stuff. Yeah. That probably was the uptick back in the day of insane people. Because there were more sane Christians. They were like, we can't have you saying this stuff to nobody.
Yeah.
We got to put you away.
We really do need to make insane asylums great again.
Make insane asylums. I'm going to make that into a shirt. Folks, I've been, I know I haven't done a lot of shows, but I've been designing shirts that I thought that y'all would like saying stuff on them. And I think that's going to be one of them. Make insane asylums great again.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. Just shut them down. Turn all the poor people in the street.
Yep. I'll probably have a room.
Yeah.
I'll have one reserved for me. We got old Jake. Speaking of insane asylum, man, he's folks. We're gonna have Jake on from that's Forest Beings and Foraging. I get it right this time.
Forest Spirits.
Forest spirits, because that's what they are. He's getting forest spirits. He's getting cryptids.
Man, that footage I stabilized tonight.
I gotta get in the woods with him, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
You know what I mean? I think some Captain Planet stuff with that, with our powers combined. When I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to think, because
I would like for us to do that Sermon on the Mount.
Operation Sermon on the Mount.
There. That would be.
Nah, bro. I wouldn't feel. I mean, I'd have to go up there first and get a feel for that area before I do anything like that there. I feel comfortable doing it in Brown Springs because we've already done a run up to it, when we're out there having fellowship and stuff. But like, I really want to say, bro, they may come out there and join us for a prayer. You never know. Because there's a different feeling when we're out there having fellowship and everybody in present have the Lord on them, bro.
And that's why I have no reservations about going right there where he's at and doing it. I have none.
Yeah, some of them got some eyes. They got some eyes that, like, I handle myself, but
They got eyes to see and ears to hear, though.
I'm saying they got eyes that look like cats with slits in them and look like dragons. And but you're right. And depart from me. Beat it, Crete. Plead the blood of the Lord Christ against you.
I think you knock them things off of them, they'll do just like they do anywhere. They're curious. They want to hear it.
If they got that type of curiosity, I think, you know what I think? I think they're the beasts of the field.
I think some of them
Some
are.
of them. Some of them are these gibberines.
Yeah. I'll just be honest with you. Most of the ones I've seen the footage of that he's getting, you know what them things are. They're
Well,
straight
bro, if we're going down that road, then it's like I say, it's the draw places. Where they are is where the draw places are. And we all have to be susceptible in some way, even born again believers, because we still have to live in the world. That's why he calls us to be separate from the world, because that stuff is out there. And I mean, the adversary, they're lying wonders. Some of this stuff, there's no doubt in my mind, lying wonders. Because if we give a mind to it, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny to me, these people who say they don't exist will never have a problem, will never see one, can live in a highly inundated area of cryptid activity and never see one. Never have a problem, never see a footprint, never hear weird footsteps or roars or growls or nothing.
Yeah.
But
You
the
know, a
folks that
funny
have
thing-
some belief in it will experience some of that, in at least in a small degree.
It's a funny thing. I live down here on the beach, and all these people get out there and they swim and they don't never see them sharks. And then, every summer they'll show some footage of where they're up there in a helicopter flying down the coastline and there's thousands of sharks.
Yeah, right
off
where
the
beach.
beach.
Swimming. Yep.
Just right off the beach.
And that, bro, that's a great analogy because they are the sharks in that water.
Yeah, land sharks.
And just as stealthy and as quick as a shark is, you turn up the volume by a couple of notches for these things in the woods, bro. They use nature against us.
People don't see them.
I think people have looked right at them thinking they're trees because they're looking at stuff, but somewhere they're in their minds, they're somewhere else. They're not just.
They're made a decision down in their subconscious. Their subconscious is seeing it just like we are. And their subconscious saying, no, I'm not dealing with this.
We're not doing it. Dang.
It's that no.
And that's something carnal then. That's something that's, if our subconscious mind has the ability to do that.
Yep.
Well, that would make a lot of sense towards the people that go missing. Running on trails that they've ran on for 2 years, 3 years. And then all of a sudden they're not seen again, except for 7 miles away, and it's their bones.
Yeah. Or 20 miles away uphill to the.
And that's, yeah, exactly. Something a man couldn't do. That's scary stuff, bro. It's scary stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And that's why, we joke around a lot, and that's something I'm dead serious about. Like, you got to be mindful of your surroundings when you're in those woods. You got to be prayed up. I don't care if you live in a metropolitan area and you don't even see a tree throughout the entirety of your day. Yeah. There's stuff out there. If you go in these woods looking for this stuff, there's things that are going to appear to you to be that. You're going to become infatuated, and you're going to go down a road, even if you never go back in the woods, that you don't want to be on, because you've given them entrance. You've come into agreement with these things. And just because they're appearing to you to be one of these cryptids doesn't necessarily mean that they are.
Yeah. And I can't state this. I can't overstate this. Don't be giving them things stuff. Don't be giving them offering. Don't take nothing from them.
Yeah, don't Amen. You're giving an offering to what some of some of our ancient ancestors worshipped as gods.
Yeah.
They worship these things in the woods as gods with a little g. There's been reports of them like shifting the flow of rivers and stuff. You know what I mean? Throwing stuff in rivers and like messing up the flow of it. And what's that old boy's name? He passed on. He's going on to be with the Lord. He was in the Four Corners area.
J.C. Johnson.
J.C. Johnson, on his land, they'd done something to the river and was flooding his land. He's got a video of it.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's no doubt in my mind, if I'm in some tribe and the tribal leaders have come into agreement with these creatures in the woods, and we offer them up a sacrifice once a year or twice a year, that if we need them to make water flow through our land, they could do it.
Yeah, I mean, look at them. You get 4 or 5 of them things together. That all they are is an excavator or a loader.
They're tractors with fur. Absolutely, they're machines.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't got machines can do what some of them things could probably.
I look at gorillas, and you see them playing around in these cages, and they're doing one-arm pull-ups like it's nothing, just bam, 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 knocking them out, and you see that bicep that's as big as your head. Now, the reason I say that, I was watching a video last night of this gorilla. I'm fascinated by gorillas.
Yeah.
Bro, think about it. Like, these things would take a gorilla apart like crazy bread.
Yeah.
They'd rip them apart. There's no doubt in my mind.
None.
So think about how strong they are. Like,
and not even notice having to do it.
Yeah.
It'd be like us taking a part of chicken wing.
Yep.
Been fried.
Golly. And the alpha male, like there's I've seen one that's let's say higher than 9 feet. Multiple witnesses, multiple measurements, seeing it in different places. The consensus view was about 12 feet. 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
We found that hog that was 20 feet long. Yeah. So I think about that kind of stuff. They're monsters, brothers. That's why, if you know, like for the past handful of years, that's the most accurate description. So if I'm talking about them casually, that's what I call them. They're monsters. That's what our ancestors called them.
Yeah. Well, they
trolls.
used to make them cover bridges to try to keep them from snatching them off the bridge, and everybody said the trolls lived under the bridge.
Yep.
That stuff didn't come out of nowhere. Just like
in all different cultures.
Yeah, in all different cultures. Just like I said before, just like little kids. You can go to any culture in the world, and the little kids are all looking at what when they go to bed at night? That closet.
Yep. And what's under their bed? Little kids' ass, bro. Like, there's grown people.
Yeah.
That you know what I mean? I've talked. I don't think I've talked in the 8 years I've done this. I can't say I've talked to one kid that talked about something manifesting in their closet, but I've talked to plenty of adults.
Well, that happened to me when I was a kid.
You know, them spiritualists, like we were talking about how they would bring those shower curtains, and they would bring walls, makeshift little walls that they would put in a box, and that box would have like
there's something about doors and thresholds.
Yes. Diesel 2 Cable. We played that footage. This was about a year ago, of his shed, and these things these predator-looking dogman things walking in and out of his shed. Like they were at the hardware store or something.
They was at the portal.
It was a portal. You're right. There is something about doors in these enclosed spaces.
Well, God told us to anoint the posts of our gate, which means your door frame.
Yep.
We're supposed to anoint the door of our house and our
the blood of the Lamb had to be across the threshold of the door, so that the angel of death would pass them by.
Yeah.
Nah, you don't tell us nothing for no reason.
Yeah, there's really something to that. I don't understand why people don't get it. You don't cross that threshold. You don't let them things draw you out or give them permission to enter.
And when we say permission, though, like we give them permission and not even know it.
Yeah, by coming into agreement out there in the woods, they leave you some feathers on the trail.
Well, you can come into agreement with them without taking anything. When you start with your mouth saying, "Oh, well, I believe that they're X, Y, and Z," and they're really the adversary, they got you.
Yeah, you're coming into agreement with them. But when you go out into their domain, onto their patch where they live, and you take something that they've left for you, you've entered into a covenant with them.
Well, I'll tell folks this. If you see a nice rock at the river that you think is cool, God made that. These monsters in the woods did not make the rocks or the water that they're found in or none of that. They can't, the adversary can't create. He can manipulate, he can distort, he can pervert, he can change. And he can do that to the point where it would seem like something new, but he's not the creator. If you run into this instance, pray over it. Pray any kind of spirit that would be attached to it off of it in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and plead the blood over it. That's our power, is the blood of Christ. Plead the blood over it.
I'm a rock hound. I love to go gold prospecting.
Yeah,
I love looking at samples.
But you're absolutely right, though. Those even earth metals. I'm glad you said that.
But
any of that stuff can have something attached to
their
it.
Patch where they're living and their lives and having their rituals and raising their families, and you take something that they've offered you, that's a different story. You're coming into covenant. You're giving permission to follow you.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, that's one aspect of it. That's what's happening in the natural spirit. Those, what do you call it? There's a certain name for it, and you find them under rivers.
Yeah, like
and then
underwater panther.
No, it's not a creature. It's an actual stone or a mineral.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Well, that they have in India, the lingas.
No. It's a rock. It's a type of stone, and it contains electromagnetic energy. Dadgummit, somebody knows in the chat, throw it in there for me. I'm having a brain fart. But in any event, like those things can have spirits in them and attached to them. Their spirits contained within those stones. That's where you get the fae.
Yeah. You also got those unclean spirits of the ones that's passed that have been cursed and bound to the earth.
Yeah.
And what is?
And that's what they're bound to. Yeah, that's what they're bound. Yeah, that's what they're bound to. That's what I'm saying. Like in the native spirits, not native spirits like spirits of Native Americans, but these spirits that were more prevalent back in the day and that are coming back. They're in that stuff. They're in those minerals. What is that mineral that's found in? It's a type of like gemstone or something like that.
It's found where?
Magnetite. No, that's not it, Bobby. Y'all, everybody knows exactly what I'm saying. If you go around rivers and start digging up in the dirt under rivers or near the beach or whatever, you'll come up with this like crystal-looking thing within a rock.
You talking about quartz?
Yeah, it's a type of quartz. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about that.
Yeah, it's a type of quartz. But anyways, you'll find that in all these, like not some, but all the areas where you see cryptids at. Somebody prove me wrong.
Yeah.
All the areas.
Well, there's always quartz where there's granite, and they're always where granite is too.
Exactly.
There's a piezoelectric effect by the crystal that's ingrown.
And see, that's like what we are. We're energy.
Yeah.
Tesla had it right. Tesla was on the right track.
Have you ever seen footage of that place in Texas called Marfa?
What's it called?
Marfa. Marfa. Marfa.
Marfa. Y'all know where Marfa, Texas is.
They got Marfa Mystery Lights.
Oh, yeah.
That whole mountain lights up. You can see it.
My whole thing with the Marfa lights is, why hasn't anybody like gone to that mountain when they light up in the exact spot where the lights are coming from?
They have.
And did they not see anything?
Out there. They got the same treatment they get at Skinwalker Ranch.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I say we have an investigation in Marfa because Marfa ain't too far from here, bro. I'll go right where those lights are shining up, And I'll
Shoot,
stand
I
there
wanna
and I want to
see.
see where they're coming from. Yeah, I want to see where them lights are coming from. I bet we don't see a thing.
I'll take some meters out there with me too.
I'll take dadgum sledgehammer out there with me. We'll
I've
get
got
to the bottom
a
of that
leak meter.
mystery.
I've got a leak meter that picks up RF signal.
There's something going on with those Marfa lights.
Yep. I've seen
Folks,
footage of it, but I've never been. I want to go see it.
Yeah, it's not too far away from me. When you come to visit, bro, I'll take you there. I've been to Marfa before. I went to Marfa without even knowing what the Marfa lights were.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I'm glad you all got to join us tonight. What's up, Katie Seal? If you would think about making a contribution to this channel, it is strictly propelled by our subscribers and our executive producers. Consider hitting like, subscribing to the channel, sharing this on all your social media, and hitting the bell so you can stay current on all the new stuff we're doing. That would be great.
Yeah.
But in any event, folks, y'all got any questions for us? We're at 2 hours and 35 minutes. This is a good show.
You know, get quick.
Yeah, you start off trying to smoke my game. So what do you got for me, folks? What are your thoughts? Leave in the comment section below too what you think is going on with the Salient agenda. I'm really anxious to get other people's opinions on it, because I think this is them putting out that first pawn on that chessboard. It's game on now, in my opinion. But yeah, we want to hear from you as well. So tell us what you think. And I don't know, we got anything else for them?
I don't know. Talking about me.
That's a no. Well, thank you again, folks, for joining us. Y'all been great. I got a word from the Colonel. He tried to talk to y'all earlier, but you know, he's in one of those time parallaxes too. God bless each and every last one of y'all. I hope y'all have a great weekend. We'll try to jump back on here with you tomorrow night. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Y'all be blessed.
Just be all y'all, and God bless.
In the lines.
Come on, you can do it, Colonel.
So it seems the Congress is finally going to recognize.
Come on, Colonel.
What in the world?
The little green man in the flying saucer.
I don't know. Well, Colonel, but I upload you like a normal YouTuber.
Oh, yeah. You're still alive.
Well, we tried, folks. Thank y'all again for everybody who joined us, everyone who contributed, everyone who shared the video. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next time.
Good night, and God bless.